Mr. Primetime.
Happy
President's Day.
Rest in peace to Vincent Jackson. That shit sucks.
Yeah, also, we got to give our condolences to Tyrone, too, and his family. They had a passing on Thursday night, too. So, not sure if he's going to come on tomorrow night or not, but definitely our thoughts and prayers are with him. Yeah, and Vincent Jackson, too. That's just crazy, man. Crazy world we're living in right now. Unfortunate.
Yep.
So what we'll do, we will go to the comments real quick. Mr. Primetime, Mr. Roush. What's up, everybody? You got an ice storm coming tomorrow night now? Or tomorrow
tonight? Yeah, like 10 o'clock. We're supposed to be getting like a quarter inch of ice and then a little bit of snow. And then we got like 5 to 8 coming on Thursday.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yep.
Sam missed you yesterday?
I missed you too, Sam.
What's up, Jose? How you doing, man? Glad you got your package.
What's up, Jose? Yours is going out tomorrow from me.
Yeah, the ice storm. I guess I got to figure out what I'm going to do because I work in Somerset. But I'm like, you know what? I may work from home tomorrow. That shit ain't worth it, dude.
Yeah, as long as you're allowed to, you might as well.
Yeah, I think
I'm still off tomorrow, but Thursday I got my part 2 of my root canal, so I got to drive anyway if we get a lot of snow, which kind of sucks.
What's up, Deshaun? Hope you're well. Hope you're warm. Balls is creating his cats. Thanks for showing me Fallen in Reverse. No problem, man. A lot of fun bands out there. Thank you guys. You guys got me. What is it? I Prevail and Motionless and White or something. What the hell's the name of it? I wrote it down. Got me all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, definitely thoughts and prayers with Tyrone. Like I said, I haven't talked to him since the weekend, but we'll see if he wants to come on tomorrow night. If not, no big deal. I'm sure I can create plenty of chaos. What's up, Afram? What's up, Anthony? Oh, shit. That sucks, Nick.
We already got the warnings to expect power to go out, but that's not for a couple hours, so it should be good.
Good evening, peasants. What's up, Evan? What's up, Nick? So what we'll do is we're a month away from free agency, so it's time to – I know we like to talk about UFC and all this other shit and have fun with it, but it's kind of time to start figuring out what this team is going to do. And
is it going to be a Jet show?
We actually got to talk Jets, unfortunately. But, I mean, it's kind of what we're here for. What's up, Jack? What's up, Primetime's Onions?
There we go.
So I did a couple of videos today because I had some free time, but the name that everybody keeps talking about and automatically created some debate was Jamison Crowder.
Yep.
And the one thing is where it's like, if you release him, it's a $10 million cap savings, but the Jets aren't desperate for cap money because they have plenty of it. So now it's like, what's the value of a slot receiver as opposed to what's out there, and how do you want to handle it? And so, guys, today's my birthday. I'm too drunk to be live with you. What do you think about Sal's comments about the difference between Giant fans and Jet fans? Well, first of all, happy birthday, man.
Cheers. Enjoy it.
I think Sal's comments were 1,000% dead on right. Giant fans are a little bit more uppity. They're a little more.
Yep.
They've had their share
as well.
They're spoiled. They've had their share of success. They have the big brother mindset over us because we haven't won shit, and we were second citizens for a long time. So we're a smaller fan base, but we're much more loyal. We're much more passionate. We're much more rowdy. That's all true. That's all. It's just a fact. You can't compare it. If there's a big game feel, the Jet fans are 10 times more crazy than Giant fans because we're hungrier. We want it all. Like, the Giants.
It's basically the same comparison with baseball. I mean, that's the Yankee fans. They're the big brother. They've dominated the city. A little more arrogant. That comes with the territory when you win.
So, I completely agree with him. 1,000% agree with him. So going back to Jamison Crowder, it's you look at him now, as of today, he's the best receiver on the team, just based on his resume, what he can do, route running, hands, everything else. But is he worth $11 million this year as opposed to what else is out there? My opinion, currently, I'll tell you mine first, is I'd ask him to restructure. Does he want to maybe add another year or two to his deal? He's going to be, 28 years old? He wants to do that, great, to bring down that amount. If he does not want to do that, then I'm like, you know what, man? We have to explore other options, and you're not guaranteed to be here this year because for $11 million this year, I think we can find other options that are cheaper, younger, and here for the long term.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think anything's going to happen until free agency is done and until the draft is done. And I think if you have an opportunity to draft your next slot guy or maybe even sign a guy like Samuel in addition to an Allen Robinson, then yeah, that creates an easy way to get out from Crowder's contract. If you're stuck maybe with only signing, a Godwin or a Robinson, you only get one wide receiver and you have other needs in the draft. You want to go O-line, you want to go edge, you stick with best player on the board. Maybe you don't get a slot guy. Then all right, maybe you bring Crowder back for another year. Is he worth the $10 million? I would say if he's healthy, playing 16 games, he is, but he hasn't really done that. And that's something that, he had prior to coming over in Washington. He had concerns with injuries. So, giving him that kind of money, it's a risk. Yes. Is he talented enough to warrant that? I think so. But if you can get your long-term, fix in here, whether it's through free agency or the draft, I think if they could do that, they probably move on.
Yeah. Like I was saying, if they make that, say, initial push early on, they go out and get an Allen Robinson, that's your money guy. And then you can say, listen, we want to put this, I think you have other slot guys out there. I mean, Godwin's a slot guy. Juju's a slot guy. You sign one of them, he's automatically gone. But
just one receiver, though, wouldn't be enough for me to move on from Crowder. I'm talking, yeah, okay. I'm just saying, like, if you get your big money guy in Robinson, I'm still keeping Crowder. If you sign Robinson and Samuel or Robinson and you draft a receiver somewhat early on who can play the slot, then I think it makes sense because you also have Berrios too, who filled in, somewhat well.
Yeah, to me, it's like he is expendable at $11 million. So you offer him like, listen, we'd like to keep you. We think you're valuable, good for locker room, everything else, but not at your price tag. If he's adamant to stay at that, and you can go out and get a Robinson, a Samuel, draft guys, like the Jets need 2 or 3 guys. I'd be happy with that. If he has to go, like I don't think right now there's not many players in this roster, but like we have to have them here this year. Not really.
Yeah,
you got Quinn, we got Becton.
I just think you have to have, you just have to have the replacement in place first, I think, before you can move on from him. So if you're able to sign somebody and draft somebody and you bring in 2 legitimate options at wideout, plus you have Mims coming back, I think that's something you could roll with. But if you only get one guy and, you decide you want to draft something else, then, I think he probably comes back.
Yeah. So for me, Crowder he's not a foregone conclusion. He's definitely gonna be back this year by no means. A lot of the names out there like Henry Anderson, obviously he can go. He never, I mean, we all loved him when he was here, but he didn't earn that contract. He earned the contract, but he didn't earn it afterwards. He was pretty much useless. Ryan Griffin, a lot of these moves that you make, you're only saving a couple $1 million. But it's like, for me, it's like you're going to have this offense you're going to implement. You want building blocks. You want guys going to be here a while, man. Like, you kind of want to start getting a flow, especially if you're moving on from Sam to a young quarterback. Deshaun Watson, whatever. But if you say you go out and you get Wilson or you get Fields, you don't want to keep changing, like, your starting tight end every year. You're running, but like you kind of want to get all these guys that are going to be here for a while. Ryan Griffin played well, got hurt, didn't seem the same last year. He seemed like he was a shell of himself. Does that change with this offseason? Maybe he gets healthier. I don't know, but if you want to cut him, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Like a lot of these cuts for Jets wouldn't hurt my feelings at all.
Well, with Griffin, I mean, it's a 1.8 million savings, but you also take, I think it's 1.4 dead money. So, is he worth bringing back as your blocking tight end / tight end number 3 behind Herndon and, somebody else that you bring in? I think maybe. Based on what he did the year prior, it's not like you're saving a ton of money. I think the more obvious cuts, like you said, Henry Anderson, Van Roten, Alex Lewis, I think those guys for their price tag, absolutely, you're getting rid of them.
That's a indictment on.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that's the whole thing. Like, I did another video today, and this is, I like getting backlash and feedback on things. And to me, I like to be objective. Like, we all want to assign blame to certain people and be positive and rah, 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 go Jets, go. But if this Jets offseason includes them cutting Alex Lewis and Van Roten and Fant, three of their signings from last year from offensive line guru, general manager, it's not a good look. Now the building's going to say, well, we're changing our offense. He wants faster guys. He wants more mobile guys, more athletic guys. Okay, but I mean, if you sign 3 offensive linemen and you cut all 3,
the thing for Douglas is that he has the built-in excuse that McCagnon had for a number of years as far as the way he structured the contracts, where it's like, all right, I took a low risk, high reward on some of these guys. They weren't guaranteed money beyond, year 2, year 3 and stuff like that. So if it didn't work out, I kept cap flexibility for my new head coach and I still have all my options going forward. And I think that's kind of what he's going to be able to fall back on here. He took some chances with, low risk, high reward guys. None of them really panned out, unfortunately. Fant, I think you can make a case for bringing him back at right tackle, depending on who you could potentially replace him with. I think he probably fits going forward. But yeah, the interior guys and Perriman and who was the corner? Desir, like all those guys were pretty much all busts. So
so for a long time, the throw-in was, well, these are all Gase guys. These are all Gase guys. That's the built-in reason. That's the built-in excuse. But now that those are all gone now. So this is truly Joe Douglas's first offseason with his hands are all over his team now. His coach, his team, he has all personnel responsibility. Salah and the guys have some say on it, but you got to figure he's been grading players all year long because he had nothing else to do. They weren't winning and they weren't competitive. So like it's gonna be fascinating. And it's like, all right, how do you transition? If you're gonna go to a 4-3 defense, how does that really go to what they have on the roster? Well, they're lucky there because they don't have anything on the roster on defense. Most of the guys are gonna be free agents and gone. So you don't have to like Poole, Jenkins, all these guys. Marcus May's a free agent. You have so many guys that are leaving that you don't have to say, no, we got to re-sign all these players. No, they're you're not in that boat, man.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of flexibility. It's gonna be really interesting to see how they handle it. I'm curious to see who the first guy is they call, what their power move is, and if we're being very honest about it, this is the first time where Joe Douglas is gonna have big money to sign a big time name. Can he get a deal done? Right? I mean,
and that's why I don't think, as far as like their own free agents go, whether it's May, Jenkins, Poole, like all the names you mentioned, I don't think they're signing any of their own free agents unless it's to a completely one-sided, lopsided contract that favors the Jets. I don't think they're bringing any of these guys back until free agency starts. I think they're going to let everybody explore, the market, see what they're worth, and in a year where a lot of teams don't have a lot of cap space, this might benefit the Jets. Maybe last year Marcus May would have gotten a lucrative contract. This year, maybe not. And maybe he comes back to the Jets for what they would be willing to pay him.
Yeah, I mean, I think in years past the Jets will be used as leverage for other teams to get, to get higher contracts. This year, I think the Jets can be, listen, this is our best offer. Not many teams are going to outbid us, and we know that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is our best offer. We're giving you what we think is a fair deal. If you want to get more somewhere else, go for it, dude, because you're not going to get it. So he can, which Joe Douglas was known to play hardball last year. They could actually play hardball because they had the backing to do it. Listen, like almost like just say, for example, like the Yankees, they were always known as a team that can listen, we're going to outbid you anyway. We're going to get the guy we want. But the Jets can be that team where they have the money. There's not many teams that have the same kind of capacity to spend big bucks. So they could have some leverage there as well. Also, at the same time there's really not excuses. There's guys they really covet. They feel that are necessary for this team. He's got to get it done, dude. Like, listen, if it means, say, for example, Allen Robinson, they pivot, they identify as a must-sign guy. We need this guy for offense. And the best offer is they're stuck at 12. If you have to go 13-5 to get him, get it done. You have the ability to do that, but don't get it wrong. And this is where McCagnon fucked up, where he pinpointed guys where he said, we need CJ Mosley, we need Tremaine Johnson, we need Le'Veon Bell, we need all these guys, and none of them worked out for whatever reason. You can't have 3 guys on enormous contracts and they all blow up. And that's why this offseason is enormous for Joe Douglas. It's enormous, dude. Like, he's basically had 2 years to learn on the job. That's what he's had. His first year was a complete joke. Last year was not good, if we're being honest. It was mediocre at best. Now is your time to shine. You've had 2 years to blame everybody else, to watch all this shit, kind of hide from all the problems, hide from all mistakes, take some blame from Robbie Anderson, and that's really it. Now you've got to show us what you're made of. Because you got, 4 more years on your contract. And you have a team that's desperate for a rebuild, desperate for talent now, that needs to compete now. Like, this team should be competitive this year.
And I think that's the biggest difference between this offseason and last, where like last year you had a head coach that was kind of on the hot seat. So it's like, how much did Joe Douglas want to go all in on any, given free agent out there? Well, now your head coach is in place. So if you identify whether it's Robinson or Tooney or whoever as the guy, like your top free agent, pay an extra $3 million a year if it takes to get him in here. At some point, you have to establish some kind of culture, some kind of building blocks going forward. So if you can get, a couple prominent free agents in here, I think you got to you'd be willing to go above and beyond to secure the deal.
Yeah, and you want to, and the thing that I think I'm annoyed today. I'm not really sure why. Maybe because it's Monday, but
really? Yeah.
the one thing is you want to know what Joe Douglas is. Like, apparently all Jet fans know what he is, but I don't know what he is. I don't know what kind of general manager he really is. He talked about making the offensive line a priority. Didn't really do it last year. He talked about a lot of things. Pretty much he didn't help his quarterback. The offensive line didn't work. The pieces around the quarterback didn't really work. But we all blame that on Gase. The whole Frank Gore bullshit, Kalen Ballage, all this other stuff. The Perryman move, I thought was his decision, was not a good one. So we don't know what his vision is. This will be the year where he, like, listen, you have your arm, whatever you want. You have all the cash space in the world, all the draft resources you want. If you want these 2 power linemen, you want Joe Thuney and Scherf or whoever you want, go get them, dude. Like, you can show us what you're made of now, because now you can do whatever you want. It's like a free spending time now. So now we're going to see, can he get a deal done? What his vision is? What does he prioritize? Is offensive line really a priority? Is the offense really a priority? And then the biggest piece of the puzzle, obviously, be quarterback. And he's got to be firm, swift, and have it identify what the hell he's going to do, because I have this feeling more and more that the Deshaun Watson thing's going to drag out, so you can't count on that. So you got to figure out what you're going to do with Darnold, what you're going to do with the rookies, and when you draft the guy, how do you help? If you draft the guy, how do you help him? This is all, dude, on him. This is the next You got what, a month of free agency. The next 2 months are going to determine so much for him and this team for the next 3 years.
Dude, completely agree. And I think that's part of why. I mean, yes, if you identify one of these draft picks coming out as, can't miss prospect and you want to go quarterback, reset the contract, fresh new coach, totally get it. But almost like the head coaching debate with Gase, where it was like, all right, we brought him back for another year. I think that kind of bought Douglas an extra year, as far as him being on the clock. So now I think the same thing almost applies to the quarterback situation, where this still isn't his quarterback. He could use this year to put other pieces in place. And if it doesn't work out at the end, he could say, well, you know what, that still wasn't my quarterback. So if he's looking at this thing as far as like, a risk reward goes, what's the greater risk and what's the greater reward? Passing up a potential franchise quarterback or taking a guy that maybe isn't it. And then you watch Sam Darnold go somewhere else and prosper. I think he's got a lot to weigh over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting, man. Because I think me personally, my expectations for this team, even with a new coach and a lot of rebuilding, a fairly relatively young staff, my expectations are higher, dude. Like, you want to see a better coach team. You want to see more discipline. You don't want to see 4 million injuries due to incompetence, whatever the hell else is going on behind the scenes. Yep. You want to see a lot of these things get cleaned up. So my expectation is, okay, you only won 2 games, but you want to see 6 maybe. So like, depending on who the quarterback is, but you want to see a much better offense that represents what the NFL is today. You want to see a much more aggressive defense. You want to see actually adjustments. Like, you want to see all this improvement. And that comes by, first of all, bringing in talent. Because for a long time, we said it was coaching, but a lot of times we say, you know what? We don't really have the talent to go. Like, you don't have that game-breaking guy in offense where the defense is like, oh, fuck, man. How are we going to slow this guy down? Who's the guy we're going to be scared of? You got to get that. And on defense, too. Now, Quinn Williams is becoming that. Quinn Williams is becoming a disruptive force, but give him other pieces around him to make him an even better player and get more results. So I'm listening. It's going to be interesting, man. I'm excited about it, but it's going to be interesting.
As much as I would love to see 8-9 wins this year, compete for like a playoff spot and all that, for me, it's still just much more about how well prepared are they week in and week out? Yep. Do they have an identity? Can they adjust mid-game? Are young players progressing? Like, all those things matter so much more.
Game management, time management.
Yeah, all that matters so much more than the final, win-loss record, at least for me.
Yeah, and the one thing that I was always sold on, especially with the Gase defenders, and when even Gase himself, when he was talking to people, which he did well, was taking advantage of mismatches, taking advantage of matchups that are favoring your team, whether it's on offense or defense. And we would do, when we took the game seriously, we would look at matchups like, dude, you've got to run the ball here, or you got to pass the ball here, or we have like certain situations where we thought like Chris Herndon would be an X factor, but those things you want to see taken advantage of. It worked for like 3 plays, and they go the opposite. You want to see this team do that. Like, if Quinn Williams is a force, move him around, do all kinds of stuff with him. If Mekhi Becton is going to be mauling guys left and right, run the ball behind them until they stop it. Like, shit like that you want to see, and you want to put parts around them to help them do that. Now, I'm curious. To me, I'm really curious about the offensive line, how they handle it, and I'm curious about the running back position, because I've been thinking more and more about this, and they're really big about the running game, man. Establishing the run, do that, opens up the pass, gets them off balance, everything else. And it's like, do they really could they consider spending big on a running back? Like, I hate that idea, but I wouldn't do it.
They're going to bring in a veteran, I'm sure, but I don't think they're going to spend big on one. I think they're going to draft one somewhere in the mid, 3rd round, 4th round, somewhere around there, and they'll sign a guy for a decent contract, but they're not going to break the bank as far as I think like any of the top 5 backs that are out there. I'd be very surprised if they did that, because you look at the Niners. I mean, they were always backfielded by committee. They had 3 backs that they trusted that can run the ball, that can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think it's going to be the same thing here. They're going to have 3 backs that they trust to be on the field, in any given situation.
And this is an interesting one, too, because I got a couple messages about this guy today, too. And they said, is there any situation where the Jets would CJ Mosley, would they just take the cap hit to get rid of him?
I don't think
so. I would say no, because you know what? When he's healthy and whatever, he's a top linebacker. Now, he hasn't played in 2 years, so he's obviously should be very healthy and chomp at the bit. To me, you bring him back for this year, because there's one thing he does bring to the table: a phenomenal leader, and he's a captain of your defense. And he's intense, and he can do a lot of good things. So even if he's here for the 1 year, you endure that cap hit, and you let him just help, Salah build his defense out. I think that could be a big impact that we kind of really haven't thought about that much.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it for a little bit last year, like the thought of Mosley coming back and how that might improve the defense, from the previous year until last year. And then, he decided to opt out. So, yeah, I mean, yes, he hasn't played for 2 years, but, what we saw in the first half with him in game one against the Bills as a Jet, I mean, defense was lights out. So, he's obviously a leader. He's one of the best at his position. So if you could have that in the middle of your defense, that helps everybody. It helps Quinn and that helps everybody on your defense. All the young players that you have that you're trying to, show some growth in the NFL, like that helps everybody.
Yep. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting if you guys want to join us. I gotta share the link because I didn't do that, so I fucked that up already. It only took me a few minutes to make a mistake. So there's this. You guys want to join us? Talk free agency. What do you want to do with Crowder? Any guys you're looking for? A lot of names, a lot of rumors, a lot of shit you can't believe out there right now. So, and it's like some of the accounts you look at, and it's like, I don't know, whatever. But so. What else you want to talk about, Primetime? Anything other than other free agents that you want to talk about?
Well, I was curious if anybody has any names as far as like potential cap casualties or even guys that like, maybe we can give up a late round pick just to take on their contract or, even like the Osweiler situation. Is there anybody out there that's making so much money where we could actually get a draft pick, for taking on a contract for somebody that maybe still has a little bit of upside, but probably not, or at least not worth the money that they're making? Because I think you're going to see a lot of teams this year that, are ridiculously over the cap that might have to make some kind of panic moves like that just to get under.
No, there's a lot of players, a lot of guys you could watch. Like obviously the JJ Watt thing was a big story. I don't think that makes any sense to me at all. To me, like I guess the question I have for you is, and I have my own kind of criteria. What is your criteria for this team right now going into 2021? What is your criteria for a free agent? What would you want to say if you want a guy that you're going to sign and give big money to? What's the criteria?
As far as free agents, I mean, obviously, I think you're looking for somebody that's somewhat young that you could build around for a couple of years.
Age?
Under 28.
Bingo.
Unless you're talking about maybe like a guy like Lindsley as, your center. If you can sign him for like 3 years, I think that would be fine. But yeah, for the most part, you want young players that, if you're going to give big money to, they should be elite at their position. I don't want to take all these, low risk, high reward type deals like we did last year. At least give me, 2 or 3 guys that you can depend on as being anchors going forward. And then you could, with the remaining cap space, then you could, try to find some of those diamonds in the rough. But you got to get a couple building blocks this year.
Dude, that was the number I was looking at. Like you're saying, like less younger than 28, 26. Like if your offensive line can be a little bit older, you can have some like certain positions they can be older when you don't need to worry about like explosive fibers, like your explosive twitch muscles and speed and quickness, all that stuff. Like corners, wide receivers, edge rushers, shit like that, where speed's at a premium. You don't want a guy ahead in his 30s. You want them like on the upside of their career, not the downside. And I understand the whole concept of journeymans and journeyman players and band-aid guys. We don't need them right now. Now you have your priority now is long-term answers. You need a nucleus of this team to build going forward. So don't give me this 1 year shit, 2 year shit. Oh, well, we'll give this guy a flyer. Save the flyer guys. No offense to the flyer fans out there, like the Philadelphia Flyers, but save those kind of guys till like your July signings. Like your priority now should be all guys that are like, this is okay. Listen, we're identifying people that we're going to have with our quarterback for the next 3 years, whoever it is, Sam, Zach, whoever. This is our, like, if you look at successful teams, you see the same names for a group of years. Like, who's going to be there year in and year out, and that's how they flourish. And we got to start finding those pieces. On offense, we don't really have it. We have Mims, hopefully Mims. Yeah. But who's the other guy? Like, is there a running back? You're like, all right, like, if you say your offense is built like up the middle, so you want to have center, quarterback, running back, whatever it is, and then you have a receiver and tight end. We don't have none of that. We know who the fucking center is. So you want to have these same group that you can build together with.
And that's why I feel like also, I don't know if you would label this criteria, but offense, I think, should be the priority more so than defense, especially when you have a defensive-minded head coach who just proved, with a whole bunch of injuries, he had that Niners defense ready week in, week out. So let him evaluate a lot of the young guys that we have. If you want to sign, a couple cheap free agents that way, draft a couple late-round picks on defense, fine. Other than that, I think all your premium assets, draft and free agency, that should be on the offensive side of the ball. Finally get with the times, build around your quarterback, whoever it is, and have an explosive offense and trust Salah to kind of work with the defense.
Yeah, you build your team, you get your nucleus. I'll keep saying the word nucleus because to me it's important. Like you look at all the teams where it's like you have Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill and all these guys. You Rodgers and Adams, like you have like there's always like the try, like even like the the heyday of the Cowboys, it was like Aikman, Irvin, Emmett. Like, you know what I mean? That you always have that little, you need your trio. You need that on both sides of the ball. You got to find it. Now, the Jets could have Becton. You could have Mims. Okay, that's 2. We don't know what else there. Defense, you have Quinnen. And that's, I'm not being a dick, but I mean, John Franklin Myers is a nice guy. Is he like considered a building block for the rest of your, defense? I mean, Harvey Lange, nice guy, but I mean, you need
that's
game breakers, man.
I think they have a lot of guys like that. Foley and Shepard and Franklin Myers, even Bless Austin, Bryce Hall. Like all these guys are like fringe starters, with potential maybe in 2 or 3 years, but they're not game changers. And that's what we need. We need legitimate game changers that opposing defenses and offense have to game plan around, scheme around, that keep coordinators up at night. Like that's what we need. That's what we've been missing.
Yeah. And the thing is too, is if you look at a good portion of these games just this year when the Jets weren't competitive, it's hard to truly assess somebody in garbage time. When you're down by 21 points, are you really seeing the best version of whatever team you're playing, or you're just kind of just running it out? You know what I mean? Like you're not being coached, there's not motivation, everybody's playing like shit and nobody cares. But when the stakes are on the line, say if it's your 17-17 versus the Bills, middle of fourth quarter, you see what you have, because then it's getting intense, and that's where it's iron sharpens iron, or you melt. Like you got to figure out what you have there. We didn't see a lot of that, unfortunately, because the Jets weren't very competitive this year. They had a couple games where you saw it, but then other than that, it was garbage, dude. We're hammered by halftime. So we weren't even watching this shit. It was so bad. Yeah. So a lot of times you couldn't really evaluate what you had, and the unfortunate part of it is a lot of these guys were hurt. So everybody wants to tell me how great Ashton Davis is and all this, and it's great. I want to believe that, but we need to see it. And this year we need to see a lot of that. And you got to hope that an NFL offseason for all these guys with a legit conditioning program and legit coaching, hopefully some preseason games, which I think they need, just get their feet wet a little bit more, helps everybody. And we can figure out more of what we have.
And that's something that Tyrone mentions all the time. Like, how can you truly evaluate, most of this roster when your coaching staff has been shit for the past couple of years? Yeah. When you're blown out of games by halftime most of the time, how do you really evaluate a lot of these young guys and what you really have? I think it's very hard to do that. And another thing, like as far as adding the premium talent, whether it's through free agency or the draft, once you have some of those premium guys that defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, they have to game plan around, scheme around, they worry about. Once you have those guys that are occupying that attention, then that opens things up for those fringe guys to kind of take that step, and actually develop a little bit more as far as being like the primary guy. Like Denzel Mims, I don't think he should be the primary guy, but if he's got an Allen Robinson on the opposite side of him, that's going to open things up for him to start making a whole bunch of plays. So once you have a few of those guys on each side of the ball, I think it does elevate some of those fringe players that we talk about a lot.
Tyson, what do you guys want in free agency? I'll tell you right now, I am lockstep with primetime on this, and I'll be really honest. I want a center. Like I want a center. I want this offensive line completely solidified, and I want an elite. And I have no problem paying Allen Robinson big money. I'll make him the highest paid receiver in football. I don't really give a fuck. Like
center, guard, and wide receiver, all three.
All three priority. And you know what? If you want to go out and sign a tight end, cool. Like offense has got to be a priority. We have to catch up to the rest of the NFL. It's priority number one. Especially when you think of that, Salah can probably do more with less on defense. And that's the kind of faith I'm going to have in him. But even if we lose 38-35, I'm cool with it. Because we can fix the defense. We got to find answers on offense. And that means spend fucking money. That means Thuney. That means Robinson. You want to go out and get Godwin. I'm cool with it. Dude, I don't even care. I'm with you, dude. Like offense. Because whoever the quarterback is, I want no excuses for this bastard. None. I want to be in the perfect position to succeed where if he's a rookie, he's in the best chance to improve as fast as possible. If it's Darnold, he's got no excuses. His game's go next level. If it's Deshaun Watson, make him a Super Bowl quarterback. But give everything you have to make our quarterback, because the NFL is a passing league, quarterback league, make him the best chance to win on offense.
And there's no excuse not to at this point. With all the resources that you have, the extra
there's no excuses at all.
Apparently this is the draft where, once again, back-to-back years, tons of wide receivers within the first, 2 to 3 rounds that could all potentially be studs. There's a lot of tackles that people are talking about. Like, this is the year, I think, to capitalize on it. If you're not going to do it now, and even in free agency, you got 5 potential, like, number one wideouts that are going to be out there. How do you not get one of them? Be willing to overpay for whoever your top guy is. Same thing with like guys like Lindsley and Thuney. I think that's perfect for the Jets. Build that offensive line, have that established. Make sure you have a wall in front of your quarterback. You could even bring, Fant back for another year. I'd be fine with that.
Give this line like a dominant, like make it dominant where it's like you can actually run the ball. Because in theory, if you want to be a competitive team, at some point you got to run the ball. They're going to stack the line, be able to still run the ball, put your quarterback in position to succeed, play action pass, like take the pressure off him, whether it's Sam or a rookie quarterback. Who gives a shit?
Well,
Like,
that's what the Niners always did well. They
Yep.
always had a nice ground and pound, and that's what made Jimmy G a success for at least a little while.
Yep.
That's what got them to the Super Bowl. They were a ground and pound team that played good defense, and they worked off the play action because they had a running game.
And like you said, if the Jets, if they don't have Deshaun Watson in place by March 15th, which they're probably not going to, if you have to pay that Jets tax, which I fear, to get Allen Robinson or to coerce somebody to come here, pay it.
Do it.
Because we saw the impact of not even like Robbie Anderson, who most of the fan base said wasn't worth the money when they let him go. Remember those days, right? When they said, we don't need Robbie Anderson, fuck him. And then once he left, we got Perryman, then we all missed him suddenly. And those tweets were all deleted. We know the importance of a receiver. So we've seen it for years. We know how important it is, especially if you're going to bring in a Zach Wilson or whoever else. Allen Robinson is an enormous target, dude. Phenomenal athlete. You cannot understate what he brings to the table. If you got to spend $2 million more, okay. Who cares? Don't worry about the backlash. Oh, the Jets are overspending. Who cares? Get your guys and do what it takes to get them.
Yep.
Like overspending for CJ Mosley, a middle linebacker, probably not the smartest idea. But, an Allen Robinson, a Thuney, a center, I'm cool with that. It's just important because these guys are going to help you for the next 4 years. So.
And the thing, when you look at their cap space right now, they're listed at $68 million. You hear me?
Yep.
You hear me?
Yeah, you're good. I think you got a delay.
Yeah, so I was just looking at the cap information right. Okay, my bad. Maybe it's because I clicked on a different page. But yeah, when you look at the cap information right now, they're at $68 million. And then obviously Henry Anderson, that's another 8.2. We mentioned Alex Lewis and Van Roten, that's another $8 million combined with them, or $8.5 million combined with those two guys. So you're easily up to, upwards of $80 million from there. If you want to get rid of Crowder, again, if you have another guy that you could bring in, that could work as well. So you have plenty of cap. There's no reason to at least not use half of that, upwards of $90 million potentially on at least 2 to 3 prominent free agents. Allen Robinson, Thuney, Lindsey, bring in your top guys, and then you still have another $50 million to kind of take some flyers, whether it's on defense or you want to sign a tight end like Jonnu Smith maybe, or Hunter Henry if they come in somewhat cheap. You have plenty of options still and plenty of money to kind of spread around after that.
All right, so I see Harry's on there, but I don't see Harry. So is he hiding from us? What's Harry doing? Should we bring him on and see what he's doing? Maybe he's sleeping.
I don't trust anybody that doesn't have a face.
I thought I saw a face, but then he backed off. So I'm not sure if he came back on.
As long as he did have a face at some point.
There he is. Oh, he's walking down the hallway. What's up, man?
You in a college dorm?
Okay.
You're on mute.
No.
My bad. Sorry.
There we go.
What's up, man?
I was in my basement. My bad. How are you guys doing?
How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I really hope the Jets are good next year. I can't wait for the season again.
You're not alone, dude.
It's gonna be
take
awesome.
more shit football.
For the first time, in at least 2 years. I mean, if you want to look back at the last 10 years of dysfunction, but at least over the last 2 years, you didn't have any hope at all with Gase. There's no reason to believe. Now you got your coach in here. We're trying to buy into Douglas. There's at least some reason for optimism.
Gase is so bad. I cannot stand Gase at all. He's the worst coach of all time.
No.
So now, what do you want in free agency, man? And what would you do with Jamison Crowder?
I'd actually keep Crowder because, honestly, he's a good wide receiver. I like him a lot. I think he's a good wide receiver. And in free agency, I want a guy like Juju probably.
Well, they play the same position.
Or Will Fuller, or not Will? Is it Will Fuller from the Texans?
Yeah, Fuller.
Yeah,
Yep.
He'd be a good addition. Allen Robinson would be good, like you guys were talking about. I like him a lot. He would be good. Joe Thuney would be a great offensive lineman for us. I'd like to bring in Richard Sherman.
Yep.
As a cornerback, I think. Yeah. Who will be our backup quarterback? Maybe I don't know if I should bring back Joe Flacco. What do you guys think about that?
I don't.
I wouldn't mind somebody younger to try to bring in. I mean, but
problem is,
I actually heard today.
Well, I was gonna say, whether you're keeping Sam or even drafting a quarterback, is he really the kind of mentor that you want as your veteran? I didn't see enough last year that said, all right, he's trying to, take Sam under his wing and develop him and, be with him on the sidelines. He didn't come off as that guy to me.
Yeah, I saw him on the sideline once helping Sam Darnold. Not at all. And I heard today that I just saw a report on Instagram saying the Jets are expected to part ways with Brian Poole and Brashad Perryman.
Well, yeah, and they're not really parting ways. They're not re-signing them. So
Yeah.
Well, Perriman's a free agent regardless, right? So
yeah,
I did
that's
not
fine.
like Pierman's effort on the field this year. He was very
Terrible.
like lazy.
Yeah.
He
He
was
can
awful.
give a shit, dude. The team went to shit. And he gave up. He didn't give a rat's ass. He got his paycheck, and he's like, you know what? I'm on to next year. It was obvious,
Yeah.
dude. He was terrible.
And also prime time. I remember when the Jets won a game, you were so mad.
we were all mad because we wouldn't be having all these quarterback debates. Because if we didn't
Yeah.
win those games, we'd be sitting
I
here.
was furious,
It
man.
would be all Trevor Lawrence, and we'd be talking about how to build around him. Now we still have the elephant in the room as far as what the Jets are going to do at quarterback.
Yeah, I want Deshaun Watson so bad. I want him so bad, but like I think it's gonna die down soon because like I haven't heard much. We haven't heard much news lately, so I don't think the Texans are gonna trade him. To be honest, they don't want to. So I think he might be staying.
Yeah, the new rumor is that they're willing to call his bluff and see if he holds out. If he sits out, so that means it's going to go through the draft. And once it goes past the draft, then what? Because then it's like, then if you're the Jets, you got to make a decision. Do you draft the quarterback then, or what? Do you, then you? I mean, then you're kind of showing your hand, and you're not going to have the resources to get Deshaun Watson. It makes it
good. I think we would take Zach Wilson at pick 2, and I saw how we might take Travis Etienne at pick 23.
Saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that can happen between now and the draft. I mean, you guys see how free agency plays out first. Do they sign a running back? What all those different things happen. Then you come up with your draft blueprint. So we'll see, man. But thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you so much. Have a
good night, man.
See you.
You too. So let's see.
Would you be mad if you just drafted a running back at 23, or even the second round pick?
Second round pick, I could tolerate a little bit more. I mean, I mean, I'm just kind of like first round pick, man. I'm like looking. It depends. Say we go quarterback at 2.
Yeah,
I would like a receiver at the first round or offensive lineman. Or it's kind of like I kind of want something a little bit. Yeah. To me, running back is you can get more value later on. I still want that game breaking player in the first round.
That's the thing. It seems like almost every year there's at least 1, 2, maybe 3 running backs that come out towards the latter portions. Even undrafted guys like Philip Lindsay and some others that that prove they could be starting running backs. Even James Robinson with the Jaguars, he was undrafted. Yep. So it seems like, if you have the right guy at GM, he can, find that talent elsewhere. But having that home run threat, like we haven't had that out of the backfield in so long. Like I would love that. I wouldn't want to do it in the first round, but.
All right, guys. What if we draft Sewell, sign Tooney? Sewell at 2, I just don't like the idea of it. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't like it. I don't like it, but if we drafted him at 2 and whether Becton's your right tackle or you move him to right tackle, I mean, those are your anchors now at tackle for the next 10 years. And then if you sign Tooney as well, your offensive line is pretty much set for at least the next 5 years for the most part. I mean, McGovern would still be here. And then it's just one more, starting guard that you got to bring in, or if you're assuming you're keeping McGovern at center. So I like the idea of establishing the O-line. I just, at pick 2, I don't know.
See, this actually isn't true. No matter what the team does, Jet fans will never be satisfied. They just hired a coach that was completely praised universally by every Jet fan. Every Jet fan loves the coach. So that point's actually not true. You got to keep in mind this fan base has watched shit football for 3 fucking years. Like we're like battered and bruised at this point. So we have a right to be angry and unruly, but everybody's supporting the head coach. They're supporting all the hires. I mean, it's been a pretty much positive experience at this point.
Yeah.
So I shit on that parade, huh?
It's natural though. I mean, until you actually see some kind of results, we're gonna question everything. I mean,
yep. But I'm excited though. I mean, it's hard to not be excited. You have all the cap space, you have all these draft picks. I'm just anxiety about how they handle the quarterback position. And the more you read, the what the hell is that insider? I forget who it was. They were saying they're gonna call Deshaun Watson out on it, man. They're not gonna say, March 15th, time to trade you. They're gonna hold out and be like, listen, let's test him and see.
That's a dangerous game though for them to play, because
sure is.
You're probably staring at having pick 2 from the Jets or pick 3 from the Dolphins if you're willing to trade Deshaun Watson before the draft. And so depending on how they evaluate these quarterbacks coming out, if they think Zach Wilson or Justin Fields is a franchise guy, are they willing to pass that opportunity up with the hopes of, getting 3 first-round picks down the line? And even if they do get 3 first-round picks, there's no guarantee that any one of those are going to be top 10 picks where you're getting your prominent quarterback. So
like if you're the Texans right now and you're in this boat, and you're basically stuck. You are. I mean, you're in a really shitty spot. You can say to the Jets, you know what? The number 2 pick and Darnold and other picks, or the Dolphins, the number 3 pick, Tua and that, and then you say, listen, we're going to rebuild around this and see what this kid is. And you have the number 2 pick. So you can say, you know what? If we get Tua and Jamar Chase, Okay, that's kind of your rebuilding project. Or you take Darnold and whatever, like, you know what I mean. That's kind of how you rebuild it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. That's interesting. They may call his bluff though. They're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like it'll be interesting if they go down that route too. I mean, is Watson willing to give up, whatever? I know this year he's not making
It's enormous
it's
money,
like $11 million,
dude.
but yeah, I mean, going forward, he's got $40 million in each of the next couple of years. So is he willing to risk that?
And they're saying, like Boomer Esiason went down the breakdown of how much money he would lose once he actually starts missing practices and preseason games. He'll lose like a couple $1 million, dude. It's a lot of money.
Yep.
So it's all fun and games. So you actually start losing money out of your pocket. And so what we'll do is now our next guest, dude, is a fan favorite. And I notice that he's not wearing Seahawks colors today.
Did we officially turn him?
This is a move that's kind of stunning. What is going on, my friend?
He's officially a Jet fan. We did it to him.
What is up, guys?
Look at that hat. That is not a Seahawks hat.
Why is it stunning? You saw my tweet.
What's up, man?
That's awesome.
Does this look familiar? Look familiar.
It does look familiar, man. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love
all
it.
kinds of shit.
Yes, you sent me a Denzel, man. Michael P. Wright.
Yep.
Trading cards.
Rookie cards, man. You got some rookie cards. You got a hat. You got a pennant. You got a bandana. He's got pins.
I got up my box now.
The pennant I'm gonna hang behind me right here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got it, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah, I gave him all kinds of stuff. I loaded them up.
So let's talk Jets, all right?
Let's talk Jets. Look at this guy. Let's do this.
For a long time, in a while, I finally agree with something you said.
Making progress.
What
do you agree with?
The video you made today on Justin Fields. If he's there, the Jets should take him.
Well, so I said if the Jets are going quarterback, yes. If their plan is to take a quarterback and they don't want to trade down, Justin Fields would be my guy. Yep.
If they're going quarterback, yes. They should go Justin Fields. They should. I'm still saying they should trade Sam and bring in someone like Marcus Mariota to compete with the rookie.
Mariota signed, I think, for another year with the Raiders. So I don't know if they'd be willing to trade him or not. But I mean, if they're drafting somebody, I mean, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but it seems like over the last month there's been this shift towards Zach Wilson being the number 2 pick, and I get it with the arm talent. He's got a stronger arm, but other than that, when I'm looking at leadership ability, toughness, like how Justin Fields is able to kind of put touch on his balls, especially on the deep ball, his mobility. For me, he just checks off at least most of the boxes for what you would want as far as how to build around a franchise quarterback. So, I mean, for me, he has the highest floor of, all the guys after Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be a starting quarterback, for sure, 5-10 years from now. Whereas I think, Wilson and Trey Lance, I feel like those guys are a little bit more boom or bust.
The only thing I don't like about Wilson is he reminds me a little bit of Johnny Manziel, how he tries to make something out of nothing.
He's bigger than Manziel, but as far as just like being a risk taker, I see that a little bit. Like he'll think that he can put the ball anywhere, and at the college level, he was able to do it. But some of those plays, like in the highlights that I broke down, like some of those plays at the NFL level, talking about like legitimate defensive backs, a lot of those plays that he was making for touchdowns might be interceptions at the next level.
Go look back at the Carolina game where he threw 4 picks and lost his mind trying to make every play a touchdown.
It's funny, Jose.
Yeah.
It's that I really like the hat on you, man. Like I think you're truly become a Jets fan. I think you've changed. Your whole demeanor has changed, man.
We've turned him.
Yes, you guys. You've turned me.
This is great. This is outstanding.
And now when I'm miserable, I'm going to blame.
You blame us. That's
Yeah.
right.
You share
When you're
the
angry on
misery
Sunday, you
with us
thank
now.
us.
So the funny thing is, the Bucks came yesterday, and my stepdad sighed and asked me, "What the fuck is going on? Is Russell Wilson? Is Russell Wilson getting traded to the Jets?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "So what's with all the Jets stuff?" And I tried to explain it to him,
Yep.
but he doesn't get it.
Were you
Show it. Was I what?
were you a big Seahawk fan when they won their Super Bowl?
Yes, I've been a Seahawks fan since Pete Carroll got there. So
See now, and
Yeah.
now you're a Jets fan with the hiring of Salah. We're gonna have a new coach, dude. Now's the time to jump on our bandwagon, man. So we're welcoming you aboard. You're already geared up. You're already ready.
Yeah,
So-
there's nothing else to root for
Yeah.
as a Seahawk fan. I mean, they already won. You hopped on at the right time. Now, pick up the Jets as we're at our all-time low and watch us kind of build this thing up.
well, here's how it's gonna be. I'm very loyal to people who are loyal to me.
That's right.
Pete Carroll, you guys are loyal to me, but Pete Carroll is also loyal to me. So prime time, you said the team you root for it
Yep.
in the NFC are the Seahawks and the Packers. Correct.
Yep.
I think
Yeah,
you said that one
Yep.
day. So
I don't mind any of those teams. I just don't have a
So
legit second team.
I will. I'm still gonna be a Seahawks fan, but I will also root on for the Jets.
There you go.
Jets and Seahawks are playing in the Super Bowl. Who are you rooting for?
It depends on.
We'll have you sold by then. We'll have you sold, but you'll be a Jets fan. You'll be doing
No.
Jets with us.
No, because Pete Carroll might get me
Yeah,
tickets.
but Jose, here's a catch for you though. Pete Carroll was also once a Jets coach.
Yes,
too,
I know.
so-
I know.
You did him dirty too.
And then you fired him after a year.
Yep.
We're not proud of that. But Jose, thanks for joining us, man. I'm glad you got your gifts. That's awesome.
Have a good night.
Night. Oh, guys.
Yep.
One more thing on the running back.
Okay.
You guys might bring in is Matt Breida.
Oh, Matt, yeah. Yep.
Because he played for the Niners, so he
Could
he
see
knows
that.
that off. So thanks for having me, guys. Go Jets.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Good night, man.
Good night, guys. Thanks.
Have a good night.
for having me.
Have a good night. Yeah, Matt Breida would be interesting, but Kyle Juszczyk, that's still the guy I want, at least on the offensive side, and then Richard Sherman on defense. I would love that.
Yeah, so I sent him a Jets pendant, a hat, a bunch of stuff that we got from the games, a pin, like football cards, all kinds, a whole big box full of stuff, dude. So
I have a whole big box of like all Jamal Adams stuff that I threw in my basement that I'm sending.
hey Tyson, I think you're a real jerk. The poor guy has problems. I'm out of here. Good riddance, asshole.
What?
Okay. Don't really
What?
understand where that's coming from, but just for that, you can take the fucking block. So,
Wow.
Adios, James. I'm a real asshole
Jesus
for having
Christ.
him be a part of our community, sending him presents and making him a Jets fan.
What the
Whoa. Fuck off, James. How's that work for you?
Some
So-
people you will never make happy. So
Dude, dude, I got so excited when I saw him wearing the hat. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. So
that's
we
what
will
I'm saying.
bring
Like,
on,
we turn into a
Yeah.
Jet fan. That's awesome.
dude. You're never gonna make everybody happy, dude. Well, I think this is the best line though. We're not this one. Where is this? Jose, dude. One thing is, if you follow Jose on Twitter, he sends me a message, dude. He is funny as shit, dude.
Yep.
And this is it right here. Jose, now when I'm miserable, I can blame you guys. That is the line of the night, dude. Because that's a typical Jets fan thing too. It's like, oh, this team makes me miserable. Like we've been miserable for 2 years, dude. Watching this shit. It's just
That's like me
sounds
early
good.
on. Like when I would blame my dad. Like, why'd you make me a Jet fan? Like every year, like every game coming home, all the season tickets, all the home games we went to. I'm like, why'd you make me a Jet fan? We could have just been a Giant fan. I could have my Super Bowls already, could be enjoying life, but nope. Still
This is a
chasing it at
fact
age
right here.
33.
Carlos spoke the truth. No one called Tyson a primetime assholes but us. That's very true. That is very true. That's just the way this works.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. So let's see what we got here. Good to see Snoopy back. Snoopy's a celebrity. He must be bothering other people. He must lost interest in us primetime. He didn't like our UFC music and everything else conversations.
He's back tonight. I guess because we're talking Jets finally.
Yeah, I guess. We're gonna bring on Evan. Evan, what's up, man?
Yo, what's going on, guys?
What's up,
You
Evan?
sound serious, man. You in a good mood?
No. Well, I tried to join and my power went out. So, obviously.
Where do you live?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh shit, you got storms down there?
Yeah, pretty bad.
Like the ice storms and snow and stuff, or?
Well, we don't really get snow down here. It's more like just like rain
Oh shit.
and like thunder.
Cool.
But yeah, I was gonna say like I've been trying to join for like a couple weeks now, but I always got like practice and
What do you play?
big Hornets fan. Wait, oh yeah, wait, what'd you say?
What do you play? As far as practice?
Attack lacrosse.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
That's an awesome sport.
Yep. So, yeah, you guys are always streaming during my practices, so I can't come on. But
Oh, we got to change our times then. We got to get shit, man. We got to go around your schedule
late.
then.
Practice late.
no, you guys are fine. But yeah.
So Jamison Crowder, stay or go?
I'll say this. If we get Curtis Samuel, and I mean, how much does Crowder make? Like 11 million.
Yep.
Like 10 and a half.
So, I personally think watching Panthers games, I think Samuel's actually. I mean, what is he? 26.
Yeah, he's young.
I think he's a better player than Crowder. And he's a lot younger.
Seems
so
like
if
he's
we
more
can get
explosive
him-
too.
Yeah. So if we can get him, and
The thing with Samuel that's interesting is that for the most part, I think coming out of college he was like primarily in the slot. He came out of the backfield a little bit too, and then over the last couple of years with Carolina, he's developed a little bit more on the outside. So if you're just signing him, you still might be able to keep Crowder, and you could have two guys that you can kind of have some versatility with, play on the inside or outside. But if you're able to sign, let's say, an Allen Robinson plus Samuel, and you plan on drafting somebody, I think that would probably be it for Crowder.
yeah, I agree. Also, I don't know. I guess like for running back, I don't really like drafting a running back in the first round.
Yeah, me neither.
That idea. So I would go for maybe a Jamal Williams.
Oh, so you'd pay for a free agent?
Yeah, but he won't be like that expensive. Jamal
Oof.
Williams from the Packers.
Well, it depends on what they do with Aaron Jones. If they how do they handle him? They let Jamal Williams walk. I think he's gonna have a decent market though. Primetime. What do you think?
I mean, I don't feel like any of the running backs that are out there right now, other than maybe Aaron Jones, are going to get, anything, prominent, like what Le'Veon Bell got, like, more than 10 million per year. I don't think there's any running back like that that's on the market right now. Even like James Conner, guys like that. I think they're all going to be somewhat affordable, probably in the, $5 to $6 million a year range.
I mean, I like Jamal Williams. I think he's underrated. He started coming on for sure, but it's like I think people may want to take advantage of that. He may have a decent market, I would think.
Yeah.
Everybody agrees with you though.
I appreciate it, Deshaun.
When you have Snoopy and Deshaun, my koala, if my koala agrees with you, dude, you're doing something right, man. Because he's a finicky bastard, dude.
I appreciate it.
So the chat wants to know, will you give us Robbie Anderson back too, since you're down in Carolina?
Man. A lot of my friends are Panthers fans. They love him, man.
So wait, how did you become a Jets fan down in Carolina?
Yeah, so I was born here, but a lot of my family actually lives in the New Jersey area.
Nice.
And they're all Jets fans. So when I was younger, I had like a choice of, Jets or Panthers, and you can see my hair, it's red. My favorite color is green.
Like Sam Darnold.
Been, so.
Yeah.
The Sam Darnold haircut. I like it.
Thanks, Joyce, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, man. Appreciate it.
You too.
So, and by the way, Elias, did you see the latest song he sent us?
I saw the first one he sent. I didn't see.
Dude, The next one's even better.
Yeah.
So our music director is not wasting any time. He's not lazy like some other people on our team. He actually does stuff and quickly. So I'm not saying you. I'm just saying in general.
Who else is on our team?
But I like it, dude. He added a little. He wrote an intro song for our. I don't know how we're gonna. We could include it on the radio show easily, but it's badass, dude. It's like his guitar playing is sick, man.
What did he add to it?
He added words, some sound effects. Yeah,
Ooh.
dude.
Ooh.
And dude, like he takes like feedback quickly. He's like, oh yeah, no problem, I got it.
So he's gonna replace me at some point. Then that's fine.
No, he's gonna replace all of us. This is gonna be a music channel pretty soon. We're not gonna talk Jets at all. Yeah, we will definitely once it's all done. He's still making one more change, and Elias made 2 songs before Primetime made a betting video. It's true.
I made a Super Bowl betting video.
That's very true.
Oh.
But we'll definitely get it. Jacoby Brissett for backup quarterback.
I'd be on board with that.
I wouldn't hate that. He's
You know
definitely younger. Oh, here he goes. Jesus
I had another 4
Christ.
cups of coffee before tonight, so
Here goes Primetime with his 4 cups of coffee shit. So go here. Let's talk music. Yeah, if you guys give feedback, I made a video a couple days ago with some songs. If you have the only request I have is you give me a band, give me some songs that you request from the band, like you like from the band, so I can dig through them. I don't think he's getting high. I think he's going to the bathroom. But we'll figure that out. Primetime is busy doing ShopRite promos for every munch, and you get some expired steak. Oh shit. So thank you guys for joining us. We could let's see. Yeah, this is just we're not even an hour in, he's already going. So Elias is working all kinds of stuff, man. He is very, very good. Drinks a lot of coffee. So do I. So Tyson, Primetime, where do you think the Jets will end up in the AFC East? Tell me who the quarterback is first, man. I don't know who our quarterback is yet. I think the Bills are probably still the class. Dolphins, how does Tua play? What do the Patriots do for quarterback? There's a lot of questions there. So we don't know the answer for that. Now Cassandra's making excuses. You can just talk to us. She said she was going to come on, but she hasn't researched free agency. We were going to bring on Andrew, but he just fell off. Kevin Bathroom Break Sirkin.
that's me. It's because I drink too much.
Primetime drinks enough coffee to keep up the Sam arguments.
Every day, at least 4 cups.
Yeah. So if there's anything you guys want to talk about, fire it out, or you want to call in, talking music, we could always do that too. Again, we want to just share our condolences to Tyrone. I gotta text him, forget that. So I'm not sure if he's gonna be on tomorrow night or not. Favorite current NFL stadium? Dallas.
Yep.
Dallas is fucking amazing, man. So amazing. Primetime, there is an argument about how much you should pay a slot wide receiver. Now, Godwin and Juju both play there for now. But the one thing about Michael LaFleur and what they talked about was versatility, where you can play not only slot, but you get moved around a lot, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, Godwin, he's not exclusively in the slot, is
they
he?
move him around too. Nope.
Yeah,
move him too.
I
Yep.
think he has enough versatility to play elsewhere. I know Juju is primarily in the slot, so
Mhm.
for me, that's not a deal breaker. I mean, if you have a guy from the slot that can catch 100 balls, I mean, that's production. So, you know.
The other thing is like, if you had a big time tight end or a legitimate threat at tight end, that can kind of offset. Not, you don't need that. In theory, you don't need to have that slot guy, that premier guy. You have the tight end over the middle, can rack up all the yards. Then you have your speedsters outside. You can do different things.
That's what I think it was. Who was it? Samini. I think he did an article today, I guess, that highlighted the fact that the Niners use their tight end a lot. I think their slot receivers. Their slot receivers, I think, accounted for only like 29%, or they were ranked 29th as far as production goes from the slot. So, is that a priority for the Jets under LaFleur's offense? Would they consider even a guy like Kendrick Bourne, who's a free agent, who was, the Niners slot receiver over the past couple of years? I mean, that could be an option too. Yeah.
So that's where you want to see what the vision is, how they prioritize, what positions they prioritize. It will be a slot receiver, outside guy. Where do they spend the money? And that's going to give you a pretty good idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
So, see, I skipped that one. You put that on. I didn't put that on.
No, because I was actually at Walmart like a few days ago. So I'm wondering if he actually saw me or if he's just like trolling.
If you didn't say hi, if you didn't say hi, even worse.
I know, that kind of messed up.
You're not getting Kendrick Bourne. He belongs with us. Listen, we took half your coaching staff. You never know who we're going to get now. So
we're getting Bourne. We're getting Sherman. We're getting
outside and slot receiver. Yeah, no, listen, we can need everything. This is why Joe Douglas has to have a legitimate plan to upgrade a lot of positions and stop with this. The Braxton Berrios and all this other shit. Listen, I like all these guys. I like Lawrence Cager. I like all these guys. They're all good stories, but let's bring in legitimate talent and maybe they can all rise their game. Maybe they'll all get better from it.
It's fine with me.
Jeff Smith and who's the other one? Vincent Smith. Can we just
Berrios? I like.
He was too nervous to say hi. Why would you wait? Primetime's not gonna. He's not gonna big time you, man. I mean, just say hi, Primetime.
Yeah. If you see me again, say hi.
Yeah.
If you were actually there.
Yeah, absolutely. Signed John Brown for cheap when the Bills cut him. I always liked John Brown, to be honest with you. All right, so we're gonna bring on Anthony. What's up, man?
What's up? Just ask me whatever you want.
It's Meyer. What's up?
What's up?
Jamison Crowder, stay or go?
It depends. Like, if you're telling me the Jets would sign, like, say this, we cut Crowder and we can end up signing Juju and Fuller, I'm doing that.
Of course, I'm with you.
But you're not cutting Crowder. You're not cutting Crowder until you know they can get those guys, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if Joe Douglas is looking into signing two really good receivers. I don't know what he's trying to do.
Nobody does. That's what makes this fascinating.
But I just really can't see him failing this whole thing now. I just can't. He's just that big of a football guy. I just really don't see it.
You haven't been a Jets fan in a long time, I guess.
I've been a Jets. This is gonna be my 7th year being a Jet fan.
You can't see him failing. I mean, we've gone through this spending.
Okay, but this is Joe Douglas, though. I'm not talking Mike. We're not talking Mike McCagnon.
Yeah, no. Oh, okay. So let's go through Joe Douglas's excellent resume as Jets general manager. Name the marquee guy he signed last year that makes you just do butterflies and do jump around and do jumping jacks and shit.
Last year he got decent guys.
Really?
Guys.
Like we just made okay. How many of the decent guys that he brought could get cut this year? A year later, 1 year later, how many of those decent guys are getting cut? I'll wait.
Yeah, Van Royen, Fane.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Van Royen's
coming back. Sears not coming back.
Perriman's not coming back.
Even McGovern. The fact that we're talking about changing him from center to guard.
Leave? You think?
I mean, he has enough guaranteed money where he's not going to get cut this year.
I don't know why everyone hates him. I like McGovern.
For the money that he made, he was okay.
Yeah, I think we like. I was really excited when we first signed him, but he's still a good center, though. I'd still.
Can we go back to why Joe Douglas is so good and you think he's so great? So we just went through how many of his signings last year that didn't really go over that well. Okay, and the draft class is incomplete because most of them were hurt and missed a significant amount of time.
I like the draft class that he had last year. I like that class.
Oh, you like it, really? So what do you, other than Mims and Beckham, what do you like?
I can't fully say I like it yet because I haven't seen it.
You just said you liked it.
But I would like to see Cam Clark play a little bit next year.
But he didn't play. So then
I've heard
is he incomplete? So you don't know what he is.
Yeah,
he didn't even play.
Bryce Hall.
What exactly do you like? Do you like
Bryce Hall?
I like Bryce Hall.
Okay,
I'll give you that one.
He showed some things.
Of course. I mean, he showed some things. He was on the field for a portion of the season, which is good.
Yeah.
So what exactly you like about this draft class? What?
I think it's an average draft class.
So now it's at prime time. So now we have a mediocre free agency and an average draft class with a lot of unknowns.
Tyson,
and now you're going to call Joe Douglas a good general manager.
It's literally the same thing.
But you're calling Joe Douglas a good general manager,
and that's not that great. I mean,
average. Look what forget about the Jets for one. No, listen to me. Forget about the Jets for 1 sec. Look what he did to Philly. He built a Super Bowl team there.
Oh, so now that was all Joe Douglas. So Joe Douglas was the architect of the Eagles. He's the mastermind behind everything.
Hold on. Can we look at the last couple of drafts that Douglas had while he was with the Eagles?
Did he have a general manager title in his? Was he a title as general manager? Oh,
hold on. I need to do this.
Just want to see what his title was in Philly because now that he was the mastermind behind everything, it's not what I understood. But maybe I'm wrong. Prime time. There's no way this is gonna go well.
I just hope he does.
Oh, so now you're hoping. So wait, you start out by telling us he's a good general manager. Now you're hoping.
I think he will, but I also hope.
So you're thinking and hoping.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a remember the Titans kind of conversation.
This is like the phone calls we get. It's the same. So just to confirm, Anthony, your final take on Joe Douglas is he? You're telling us he's a good general manager, or you're hoping he's a good general manager?
I think he is. I just want to see.
Okay, so you think he is, but you want to see it. Okay.
Listen, man, he's done some good. He did everything that the Jets want. You know how all the fans wanted Robert Saleh? He did that for all the Jet fans. He hired him.
Okay, no, listen. Now you finally made a point I agree with. You finally nailed something.
He went outside the box. He's made okay signings. Last offseason, he made okay signings.
You just lost it,
I'm not saying.
I was trying to give you a lifeline, and now you just cut your own lifeline.
No, I'm just saying, like, why? Because you disagree with me. You don't think you're telling me McGovern and Fant weren't like okay signings? I think they were.
No, they were okay. Those were his two bets.
I know.
So now, but Anthony, do you want? But here's a question for you, Anthony. Do you want an okay team, or do you want a good team, or a great team? What do you want?
Great team.
So then, why are you happy with just okay?
Okay, my point is, it was the start for him, and he still had Gase with him. That's my point.
So now we're back to this. So now now we're gonna blame all these signings on Gase.
And listen to me. And in my opinion, I feel like Douglas was only signing certain players because Gase didn't really have a relationship with every player.
So Joe Douglas, a offensive line guru, an offensive line guy that was touted at that by every Jets fan I know, right? Offensive line guy is going to take lesser offensive linemen, take guys he doesn't believe in just because his coach wants that. That's what he's doing. That's not a good general manager, in my opinion. But what do I know?
No, just no. I
guess it's just okay. Prime time. What do you think?
Yeah.
Prime time's been through this too many times. He's seen this before. So I'll ask you one more time, Anthony. Your take on Joe Douglas is what?
I think he's a good GM, and I hope he's going to be the GM that I think he is. I just hope he builds a winning culture for us. That's all I hope.
So now, if you had,
I was going to say, stick with Saleh. The fact that he went outside the box, didn't hire a coach that he had any relationship with.
I know exactly. Saleh. Like people thought
the right kind of guy to build the culture here. That gives me hope. That gives me hope. But his free agency and even his first draft class, that does not give me hope. At least not yet. He has a lot to prove in those areas.
Yeah, I understand. And the thing is, he has way more money to spend this offseason too.
But had a lot to spend last year too. But
he just didn't.
And I feel like he's got more draft picks this year too.
Well, he does. I mean, those are two facts that you finally given us, that he does have more draft picks, does have more cash picks.
The question is, are we going to get rid of some of those picks though for Watson?
Well, I mean, if he's a good general manager, he'll figure it out, right? All the Jet fans would thank him a lot. Say like we trade for Watson and it's not as much as we think it's going to be. See, now what you missed was
he just in your argument outsmarts the Texans.
No, see, in your argument, there's two things that you missed on that you could have used to support Joe Douglas. An outside the box hire in Saleh, and he got tremendous value for Jamal Adams. Something you didn't mention at all.
I like the 2 first-round picks that we got for Jamal, but I did not like Bradley McDougald.
I mean, I don't give a fuck about McDougald. You got 2 first-round picks for a guy that most of us thought would get a second-round pick at most because we had no leverage. So I mean, that's
you're trying to defend Douglas. Why would you bring up McDougald?
I was just trying to forget about McDougald for 1 sec because I
tried to help him. I tried to help him.
Mention him. We were trying to give you credit. We're trying to give Douglas credit with the trade. He got great value there.
I gave you a lifeline. I gave you 2 lifelines, and you blew them both. Anthony, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
All right, I'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Have a good night, man.
I tried prime time. I tried.
You did. You tried very hard.
I don't know what to do. I can't just so we're gonna go to Jordan. Jordan, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing tonight?
I hope you you know what? If Rose calls us assholes, we know we are then. We've actually accomplished something then, so that's good.
Oh, she calls us that every night. That's fine.
So I have like one quick question for you guys. Marcus May, would you franchise tag him for 11.2 million?
Nope. I'm
Nope.
not. You?
What was that? I didn't get the question. What was it?
Marcus May
franchise-
franchise him.
No.
No.
Nope.
You want a contract or let him go?
I think Marcus May is going to test the market and see what he can get, and they'll probably come back with his best offer. And will we want to match it or not? It's up to us, but I don't want to franchise him. I don't think he's that. I mean, listen, I like him as a player, leader, captain, all that great stuff in a locker room, but do you want to give him $11 million this year?
I mean, it's only 1 year as like a bridge guy, so.
Well, you don't franchise. He's not a bridge guy. He's going to be here for the next 3 years, you'd say, as a starter at least, right? What is he, 28? How old is he?
Well, I mean, if we franchise
yeah.
tag him and then it gives us at least 1 more year with him.
I mean, you don't know what you have. You don't know what you have. You know what you have now. So if you say, listen, if you're willing to franchise him for 9 or for 11, say, you know what, we'll give you $8 million a year, $9 million a year for over 3 years or 4 years. Would you rather have $11 million or $36 million? And see what he says.
Even franchising him though at $11 million a year and then potentially letting him walk after a year. I mean, the Jets aren't a year away. We're not even 2 years away. So I'd rather spend that $11 million on a building block that's going to be here for 3 or 4 years instead of giving him that. But I still think like the biggest thing with Marcus May is that you have so many teams that are up against the cap right now and a lot of good free agents that are out there. So I think Douglas is going to let him test the market, see what he can get. And I think there's a good chance that he would still come back to the Jets after that. And, the Jets would be able to get him at their price.
Yep. All right, that's fair enough. I think he seems like he's going to be a valuable guy on the free market, but if he goes for less, then
yeah. I mean, listen, I think
it's a win. But if we lose him and some team pays him like 12, 13 million, and then we could have had him only for 11, then it's not a bad deal.
I mean,
I think he's one of the most valuable safeties on the market right now.
I mean, I think he's ranked. They ranked him fairly high, if you believe what PFF sells you. If you're going to make an argument for him, it's the one thing Joe Douglas preached to everybody was keep your own talent, keep your own guys, stuff like that. The thing is, Joe Douglas didn't draft him. So is Marcus May one of his guys, or is he a guy that's really good for the Jets to say, you know what, we're going to go in a different direction. We don't want to spend that much money on a safety. I don't know. Like, how much do they value Ashton Davis? What role do they see him playing? It's a lot of different things. I agree with Primetime, though. I think they're just saying, you know what, he's going to want to test free agency himself. You know what? He may want to say, you know what, if I have a chance to go to a win now team, maybe he goes there, dude. Whatever team that is. You don't know what you're really looking for.
All right, that's fair enough. All right, thanks for the time. I'll talk to you guys again.
Yeah, have a good night.
Have a good night.
I mean, it's interesting. Like, I'm a May fan, dude. I like Marcus May, but
me too.
I don't want to franchise him, though. That's a rough one, man. It's a lot of money, and it's just a lot of money for a guy that's like,
especially for the Jets too. I mean, we're not a win now team. It'd be one thing if you're doing that with the expectation that you could sign him to a long-term deal at a reasonable cost, but to potentially pay him for just 1 year at $11 million, I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think so either. The transition tag, I think you try to get a deal done. I don't think you need to use a tag on him whatsoever. I respect him all the world, as much. Yeah, the lights were killing me, dude. I guess we'll do one UFC question real quick because this one's an interesting one. I knew this was going to come up too. Thoughts on the Masvidal Usman rematch? I mean, I don't think he should get it. I don't think he should get it. I think Usman's taking an easy way out. Yep, I don't think you should fight him.
So who should be next up then?
There's probably 2 or 3 guys ahead of him. I mean, Usman, what's he doing? He hasn't fought. What has he done?
You mean Masvidal?
Yeah. He lost already.
Yeah, but he went the distance on 6 days rest as far as his camp goes. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's kind of they're kind of like cherry picking fights now. Personally,
I'd like to see that fight again, but that's just me.
Tyson, can you explain what a franchise tag is? I don't know the details of what it means. It's the average of the top 5 contracts at the position.
Yep.
So like May would get 1 year, $11 million. So if you want to trade him, you get draft picks for it. Was it a first round pick, or I forget, they changed it a little bit, but it's basically a 1 year contract for top money at the position. We will bring on this is Vincent, but I'm not sure which Vincent this is.
Oh, hi.
Yo, what's up, man?
Oh, so I'm just watching Nick's humiliate Just watching the Knicks game right now.
Next
Where the
one?
hell's all your pillows and everything else? Where's the dog, the pillow, the guitar? Where is everything?
I'm in a different room because my TV in that room's having a little technical difficulty, so I can't watch the Knicks game right there right now.
What's the score to Nick game?
It's Atlanta 83, Knicks 81.
Ugh. How's the dog doing, man? Is he still
The dog
scared, or
doing
is he?
No, she's fine. They're both upstairs with my mom right now. But I was hearing, I was actually listening to what that's annoying. Turn off that amp because it's malfunctioning. But I was hearing that earlier guy calling about Joe Douglas, and you were mentioning about marquee free agents. Thing
Right.
is, Douglas comes from the Ozzie Newsome GM tree, and Ozzie wasn't a big free agent guy. Neither is, and obviously you are who you learn from. Just like coaches, like coaches, like a coach like Robert Saleh is going to learn from who he was around. People
but
like obviously Shanahan.
Here's the difference, though, is
Yeah.
that Ozzie Newsome could do a lot of things when you're a perennial winning AFC contending team. You have a lot of things. You have a championship culture, a championship pedigree, a quality coaching staff. You have a lot more flexibility when you do that kind of stuff. You have a system in place. Right now, Joe Douglas does not have any of that. So he's going to have to use the salary cap, unfortunately, as a crutch to help him offset all the lack of talent on the roster. That's just a fact, man. Like, that's just the Jets are. You can't compare Jets and Ravens whatsoever. It's apples and oranges. So he's gonna have to spend money to bring in big time free agents until he can actually draft well and get legitimate game breaking talent that way.
The thing about Joe Douglas, the reason why I think he's a good judge is because I understood everything. I could never understand what the hell Idzik or McCagnon were doing. I could never understand their moves.
What did you understand about last year's approach in free agency with Joe Douglas?
Well, he wanted to evaluate the roster. Didn't want to put big. I think he had hindsight to understand what COVID was going to do, because obviously part of COVID played a factor into his free agency moves.
It did. So how exactly did COVID tell him, let's not re-sign Robbie Anderson, let's bring in Brashard Perriman instead?
That one was his mistake. Not spending.
So then how did COVID tell him to sign Pierre Desir?
I'm just trying to say, because let me just finish. COVID told him not to spend a lot in free agency, and you look where the Jets are. They're one of the few teams with an overwhelming abundance of cap space in a year, unlike any other, where large quantities of high quality players are going to hit the open market.
That's fine. So then he didn't.
Well, hold on.
Tell me. So if the offensive line is a priority because it is a priority because you want to protect whoever your quarterback is, whether you like him or not, Darnold, Flacco, whatever. So then, how do you explain to me that he spent less money on offensive line, risked the health of his quarterback just to do what? Have COVID money for this year?
Well, he wanted to. Well, I do think he definitely wanted to sign Thuney, but the Patriots franchise tagged him.
So then what? So then you just quit and say, you know what? Let me get 1 year contracts to guys that aren't that good. Watch my quarterback fucking die on the field, and let's go to try again next year.
I think what Vincent is trying to say is that Douglas wasn't willing to go all in on any of these free agents that were out there last year with a head coach that was on the hot seat.
Not what he said. He
And
said he did
all
a good
these kind of question marks as far as the salary cap and everything else goes, knowing that it could potentially be something that could sell your new head coach, having all the cap space, having all these draft picks, being able to kind of start fresh with a new coach. Isn't that what you're trying to say?
Don't try saving Vincent.
I think that definitely played a factor, but honestly, like I said, what I meant is not the free agency. I understand the draft. The draft, everything made sense because that was the thing.
James Morgan made sense.
Outside of James Morgan, everything else made sense. We needed a left tackle. You grabbed the left tackle. You needed a wide receiver. You got a wide receiver. You needed help in the secondary. You got a second. We need help in the secondary. You got a safety because you had no idea whether or not you were going to.
One of the best wide receiver classes in the last how many years? They walked away with one wide receiver.
That is a mistake. But that is a mistake. But like I said, you drafted a wide receiver. Should have gone for more. But overall, I think it was a very good. I think like everything for the most part made sense.
What exactly made sense? You're looking 1 year later. A good portion of the free agency class is probably going to be gone, And the draft class, for the most part, is a relative unknown. It's incomplete. We really don't know what most of these guys are. So how do we even assess that?
That's not his fault. That's coaching. That's Adam Gase mismanaging the roster. I mean, let's be honest. How many times should Mims have gotten the ball? How much more should Mims gotten the ball? How many times they would just?
We did ask why they weren't featuring Mims a lot more. I mean, we did ask that a lot during the season.
It's like that's the thing, like how he consistently ran Frank Gore down our throats.
How do you evaluate? How do you evaluate Cameron Clark? Did he make you feel good about things?
Well, he should have been in the game. They should have put him in the end of the season.
So then, does it concern you? Does it concern you that a couple of his draft picks never even saw the field last year?
Like I said, that's not on him. That's on coaching. Coaching has to let these guys. It's the job of the coach.
So there's no chance they actually practiced and they're like, "Yo, these dudes aren't ready. Let's keep them off the field for now. They're a liability." Is there a chance of that happening or no? I love dead air, man. It just makes the show so much easier to deal with.
It's a possibility.
It's not like certain things are not.
It's
his
also
fault.
a possibility. I think that Gase maybe just wanted to go with some of the veterans, guys that were
Gase favored the veterans, because he thought they were the best chance to win.
Big Lou, you can give me whatever you like, my friend. I'm here. I'm welcome to everything. No fear whatsoever.
I haven't been this exhausted since I spent an hour rehearsing my Mickey Mouse voice.
I don't know what to say with that. Vincent, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good night.
I don't know how I got into the mode of bashing Joe Douglas all night tonight. I'm just asking questions, prime time. It's all I'm doing is asking questions.
No, you're asking the right questions, but I kind of understood a little bit of where Vincent was coming from there.
You understood something there?
A little bit of where he was coming from, yeah.
Fuck, man. I couldn't. I'm ready, man. I'm here for it. I don't know what happened here. So the name of this next one is literally anyone but Sam Darnold. So,
oh no.
What's up, man?
You're muted.
How you guys doing tonight?
What's your name, man?
Hey, what's up?
My name is Dylan.
What's up? Another Dylan. What's up, man?
How are you?
Oh, you sound very serious, man. Is this gonna be a serious discussion?
Oh, no. I just wanted to give you my input on free agency.
Let's go.
As well as exposing Sam Darnold. So I think that for the offensive line, I think that we have two options. Either we keep McGovern and then we spend buy contracts for Thuney and Scherf at the guard position. So then we have Becton at left tackle. We have Thuney at left guard, McGovern at center, and then we have Scherf at right guard, and then we have Fant at right tackle, which I think is a solid line. Or if we don't like McGovern, because I don't think Tyson likes McGovern, I think I also heard that he's a viable option for guard. So I'm thinking that we move him to guard, to right guard or left guard, whatever he feels comfortable. Get Lindsey and then get Thuney as well, because Thuney can play any position on the line. So
I like that.
And then
idea.
yeah, I definitely agree with you, Tyson, in terms of
I love this guy.
Getting Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is such an underrated receiver. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves.
Yep.
I think it's probably because he's on the Bears, and the Bears are such a Met team. The 8-8, 9-7 gritty defense. Our defense is going to be your offense. Yeah. I think we get him, and then I think a name that nobody has said. I think we get Kenny Galladay. I actually think he's probably one of the most underrated receivers. I think it's because that everybody makes fun of the Lions because of the winless season and the fact that Stafford can't stay healthy, and he's still putting up solid numbers for what's around him and who's throwing to him. So I think that he will be.
What kind of contract would you give him though? Is he may have some suitors because he's a quality receiver.
He gets hurt a little bit too though.
I would personally give him probably maybe two years for maybe 2 years for $12 million.
You give him $6 million per. It's gonna be more than that, man.
Well,
wide receivers are a luxury, man. Everybody wants them right now. Everybody's looking for wide receiver help.
Yeah, and speaking on what I think his name was Anthony. Joe Douglas is I don't know what he's talking about in terms of like how he did like an amazing job as a GM. His only two major, uh, picks were Becton and then Mims, and I guess you can make the argument for Bryce Hall, even though he was injured. And I guess Braden Mann, because we can't really even say Braden Mann because he was punting like 10 times a game. So it's not a fair assumption for us to judge him based off of that. And then the terrible, the signings he did, Quincy Wilson, he left the team before the season ended. He lost they released Le'Veon, but they didn't even try trading for him. They tried trading for him. Pierre Desir was probably one of the worst 1 year signings of all time I've ever seen. Who else was James Morgan? Have you even seen James Morgan play yet? He hasn't played one bit.
Nope.
Who else? I'm trying to find things that Joe Douglas has not been good at. He said that we were going to have a solid offensive line, and our offensive line maybe looks a tad bit better from the year previous.
Yep.
So I don't know what's going on there. And you know what, Kevin, I'm tired of you trying to defend Sam Darnold. This is just getting out of hand at this point.
All right, so bring it on.
Best call of the night.
So what do you got?
Okay, you go first. You go first.
No. You're the one that's calling me out. So present your argument.
Go and say your usual nonsense of how Gase and he has no weapons. Go ahead, and offensive line.
I'm not talking quarterbacks tonight. You're the one that said you have an argument about why Sam Darnold sucks. So
Dylan, here's why Sam Darnold sucks.
You're going to talk for him. Okay, that's fine.
Yep. No, I'm gonna talk for you. Here's why Sam Darnold sucks.
I already know what he's going to say.
I'm not talking Sam tonight, but go ahead.
Do you guys know how you could predict like Adam Gase's plays like before the play even starts? Like the first down run and the third down screen. I could do the same thing with Kevin's arguments with Sam Darnold.
So then, if you don't want Sam Darnold, who do you want?
Literally anybody but Sam Darnold.
We need an answer. You got to give us a name.
Okay, that's unrealistic. I would love Deshaun Watson, even though I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Joe Douglas is going to spend big money on him. I think there are a lot of good QB prospects. Probably Justin Fields probably would be my number one choice because he has the size, he has the arm, he plays premium competition in and out. He even threw 6 touchdowns against Clemson. And he even played against. I'm a Bama fan, by the way. He even played against. He played what he could with 2 broken ribs against a top 3 defense in college football.
So, what are your thoughts on the Alabama quarterback things? We've had people that said, you know what, you can get him later on. He's still a good quarterback.
I think Mac Jones is such like. I think Mac Jones is like the Patriots quarterback. Kind of like I'm not comparing him no means to Tom Brady, but that's what I think. Like his quarterback, he has a great deep ball. He's very accurate. He's not that athletic in terms of like mobility and trying to escaping the pocket. He doesn't like delivering a big hit. He's literally slides. I think he's very accurate, but I think that as a Bama fan, I think that he is a slightly little overrated because our offense was the number 1 offense, and when you have Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith and the best,
is he a guy that you'd want to coach? Is he a guy that you want the quarterback the New York Jets?
No, I personally don't want him because, first of all, he's had a knee problem, and I don't think he fits into the West Coast scheme of Mike LaFleur. So, all right,
fair enough.
Kevin, I'm still waiting, man.
No, we're not going to argue, Darn. We're just
waiting for what? Like, hold on. So the one thing we can agree on is Justin Fields. If the Jets are going to go with the quarterback at 2, I would agree that he's probably the next guy up after Trevor Lawrence. I like what he's done against better competition than Zach Wilson's faced. I think Zach Wilson probably has the greater arm talent. As far as his zip on the ball, throwing the deep ball and stuff like that. I just think Fields is a little bit more polished in all areas. He can create more with his things like that. But I still think it's a discussion as far as whether or not this is the year that you want to go all in on your quarterback, or you want to build the roster and see with another year of Sam. I think that's a legitimate discussion still.
Like I guess like I wouldn't be mad if we traded down and got Trey Lance. I know the big thing with Trey Lance is that he hasn't played competition because he plays at North Dakota State. But I think he's solid. I think his footwork is pretty good for who he plays. I think that he'll be like kind of like a hybrid quarterback. I think of kind of like Lamar Jackson, except that I think he's a little bit less mobile than Lamar Jackson, but except unlike Lamar Jackson, he could actually throw the ball. Like he could sling the ball around everywhere. Yeah. And I also think that I wouldn't be like I said. I wouldn't be mad if we traded down, like maybe get maybe a I don't know. I think the Panthers have like the 15th pick. I think, or no, that's the
seventh, seventh or eighth. I think they're picking.
Okay, then someone lower because I don't want them to like go all the way down. But yeah, that's my argument, and I think that one of the reasons why I'm trying to prove to like Kevin that there is a talent gap, right? It's not all about team. I mean, okay, it is all about team and like scheme and like who your receivers are, but there's also talent. Talent also comes with it. I think another situation we could compare Sam Darnold to, even though I can't even believe I'm saying this, Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I guess you could almost say that Patrick Mahomes is.
So you're proving my argument for me.
How? What did I say?
If you're about
cutting out, by the way.
If you're about to talk about like the fact that Mahomes didn't produce a touchdown in the Super Bowl because he didn't have an offensive line and his weapons were dropping passes.
But he had 300 yards though. He had 300 yards though, and he was running for his life, and he was hitting his receivers right in the face, and they couldn't catch it. He wasn't throwing into triple coverage.
So you're saying Mahomes overcame adversity and still put up big numbers,
yes,
with
and
all
even
the
though they,
situations.
yes,
I get it,
I know,
9 points.
even though they, yeah, okay, 9 points, but his receiver, how many drops did they have? He was, whatchamacallit? He was literally running around. I think he was running around in circles.
I think.
Did you see that last throw in the fourth quarter where he literally was on like his like tippy toes and he threw off balance and he Tyreek Hill in the face and Tyreek Hill dropped?
I did, and Mahomes is the best quarterback in all of football, and he still put up only 9 points.
So so there is
a lot of adversity and no offensive line protecting him.
So there is a talent gap then, right?
I mean, if you're comparing Sam to the greatest quarterback in football right now, I mean that's kind of a stretch.
Okay, but I'm trying to show you because you say that his Sam's receivers drop everything and he has no time to throw the ball. Mahomes had no time to throw the ball and his receivers were dropping everything. I know it's not the same magnitude of what you're trying to say of how.
And what was the result?
Patrick Mahomes it was 9 points, but he still played well relatively. Yes, he had 300 yards. Sam would have had like 88 yards for 4 picks.
And who's the head coach and who's the play caller? Andy Reid.
Okay, but you just said that he only scored 9 points
versus Howell Loggins and Adam Gase. And
but
yes,
you just said he only scored 9 points.
With that, with a good system, good coaching, and weapons, without an offensive line, they still put up 9 points.
You just went back to what you were previously saying, how he has no weapons and good coaching.
What? You're losing me. I'm completely lost.
Dylan, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
I tried.
All right,
have a good night.
I'll be back.
You got it.
You're welcome.
So apparently, while you're dealing with Dylan, Big Lou is continuously attacking me. I never have a valid argument. It's always no.
That's you?
Okay. I guess so. I never have a valid argument. So if you're going to call in with a take, which I've invited you to come on, no problem. Let's hear what your argument is, and we can debate it. So if you want to tell me Joe Douglas is a great general manager, I'm going to question you. I give him credit where credit's due. If it's not due, I'm not going to give it to you. I don't drink the Jets Kool-Aid 24/7 and just blow smoke up everybody's ass, make everybody feel good and happy. It's just not my nature, man. So whatever you want to challenge me on, go for it. It's not always no. I just gave him credit for fucking the Salah hire, for Christ's sakes.
I don't get the it's always no part.
Jesus Christ, man. What happened here?
He says he needs a number. The link is right below his comment.
Yep.
Hop in.
Yeah. Now, and Big Lou, while we're at it, I will bet you're $3.99 that Primetime is probably a better rapper than you. How about that?
Oh. I wouldn't put $3.99 on that, but I appreciate the confidence.
Oh, man. So it is what it is. This is where we're at. What a night this has been. Confrontation, all kinds of shit. We're going to bring on. See, now we have all of this going on. This hostility towards you, towards me.
We need some calm right now.
So now we need the namaste. Yep. Everybody mellow out. Just chill back. Look at the family pictures, and we're going to bring on.
We need Afro. Yep, that's what we need. That's what we need.
Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Good.
Much better now.
Yeah, I think it's time we make a steak or something like that. Let's just cook something.
Grilled cheese or something.
There's so much hate going around. And animosity is right. Oh my God. We don't know what's going on.
I thought tonight
Let's start with this. Jamison Crowder makes $11 million. If you part ways with him, you save $10 million approximately in cap space. How do you handle him?
There's so many scenarios. If you get Samuel cheaper, you go with the younger guy. Simple as that. I always believe you build a core, and around the core, then through the years, with the draft, you fill in that spot you need to fill in with your number one pick, and so far. My question to you guys is, what is the percentage of the draft picks that Joe makes this coming season have to be good in order for you to say it's a good draft?
Half.
50%?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, how many picks do they have? How many total picks do they have?
9. I think it's 9. I think.
If you can get 4 or 5 contributors, it's probably a good draft class, right?
Yeah. No, but I'm saying it. But I mean, what is? I didn't research this, and I should have before I asked the question. What is the average of drafts amongst all teams that they're that they get a good number of picks? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and we've had that conversation a lot over the years. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, a lot of years you'd consider a good draft. 2 premium starters and maybe a couple other maybe 1 or 2 other guys that are fringe starters, contributors, things like that. You're never going to hit on more than like 50%. Even some of the best Jets drafts in history. I mean, when they got like Harris and Revis like back-to-back years in those drafts, or the one year where they had all those first-round picks, that was a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, there are very few drafts that you could look at, even the ones that are viewed as successes, where they hit on more than 50% of picks. It's it's hard to do that.
Exactly. So I mean, listen, this is his year. This is the year he has to start showing what he's made of. What happened last year? I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Was he holding on to the money, knowing how much he's going to have, and does he know what free agents were going to be around, and that's what he was going to use, and only got what he wanted? Maybe he didn't want to tie himself into long-term contracts with some of these guys because he knew what he was getting. And like you said,
I think he took some calculated chances that just didn't work out. Now, the draft class is hard because you had no preseason. It was a strange training camp. The strength and conditioning team obviously had a problem because everybody got friggin' hurt. So there's a lot of things you don't know. But the problem you have is other teams across the league, a lot of the rookie players played well. So it kind of makes you feel a little weird, but we don't know. Like, you hope with another offseason with, a new coaching staff, new system, more leverage in terms of getting on the field preseason, this class can show you more. To me, it's just an incomplete. I'm not bashing them all. I'm just saying there's a lot to be seen still.
And it really has to go back somewhat to coaching, because these guys played. Would they play harder now because they have a much better coach and a much better staff than they played? I think the last part of the season, I think they played for themselves.
Yep.
Versus the coach, and I think that sparked them over those 2 wins, and we have to accept it. They won 2, and that's it.
Well, yeah, I think also too is I think you're going to have better coaching. You maybe have more accountability, and you may have better leadership. For example, just say they bring in Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman could do so much with Bryce Hall and Javelin Guidry and Ashton Davis. You have those guys. You could have like a changing of the guard in terms of leadership and mindset in the locker room, and that's how you change your culture too. That could pay dividends instantaneously.
Yeah. Now I want to comment about the previous caller where he said, when you asked about Mac Jones, I don't know about you guys, but if I have a quarterback who's accurate all the time, and does good things, guess what? I don't need my quarterback to take a hit. Let him slide. I prefer he slides before he takes a hit. That doesn't prove nothing to me that you take a hit. It only proves to me that you're going to be on the bench with your ribs broken. Take a slide. I mean, Russell Wilson does that all the time. He'll slide right away.
Live for another day.
And wait for another day. Listen, I'll take accuracy over that. And if he's a program guy, if it works with what they're doing, it works. It's as simple as that.
Well, I think that's also where you have a difference between Justin Fields, who is a little bit slimmer, I think, than Trey Lance. So he probably needs to preserve his body a little bit more. Whereas Trey Lance, I think he's built a little bit more like Josh Allen, where he could probably run over some defenders, extend the play a little bit more and things like that. But still, if you're a quarterback and you have the accuracy, like you just said, I mean, you should be able to trust yourself to kind of get it back on the next play.
Yeah. My next question is, and I want you to be honest with me, Wilson Fields, and Lance. In all honesty, any of those guys belong as a number 2 pick if you have to judge on talent. You know what I'm saying? And if they're only there because there's a need for a quarterback on that team.
Yeah.
But as far as you know
Well,
what I'm
see,
saying?
but see, the only thing is, I think, is it that they're not the number 2 quarterback, or is the evaluation and opinion of Trevor Lawrence is so high, everything else is just second best? Like, it's like everybody loves Trevor Lawrence so much, and he's so highly touted that everybody out there is like, because now if you look slowly but surely, I've watched 3 or 4 college analysts that they're all raving about Zach Wilson now. Raving. I mean, legitimately, like, this guy's number 2, easily the second best quarterback, all this stuff. So now, like I said, it's only February, dude. I guarantee you by end of March, early April, it happens every year, man. They start just blowing, these quarterbacks all blow up.
I understand. But is that them selling a story to the public that they need to sell a story to?
That's what
you know
I didn't watch BYU football, dude. I have no idea. Like, I didn't watch Trey Lance play. Like, I'm not a big college football. I don't watch Kyle Trask. You know, it's like I have no idea.
In the little bit that I've watched, I feel like, again, Zach Wilson's more of a boomer bust. I mean, incredibly high ceiling. He's got all the arm talent. He's got the arm strength. You know, if you put him in the right system with the right coaching, I think he could be phenomenal. But I think he's got a lot of risk to him. I think Justin Fields, his ceiling, or his floor at least, is a lot higher. I think he could beat you in a lot of different ways. And I think Trey Lance, I think he kind of fits with the Zach Wilson mold a little bit more, where he's more boomer bust. Same thing, you know, coming off a year where he didn't really play at all, showed you a lot the previous year. But, you know, are you comfortable taking him at 2 with only like really 1 full year as a starting quarterback? I mean, there's a risk with all these guys, I feel like.
Yep. I agree.
I'm wondering if Sam wasn't on his say his 3rd year and he had like 2 years left on his contract before the option, do you think they would have kept him and not worry about going back?
That'd be more intriguing, I think, probably. Because you say, no, it's only 2 years, but I think now it's like you have that decision. What is it, May 5th to make? And it's like, you know, it's just a litany of things that are not in his favor, it seems like. But Afram, thanks for joining us. Thank you for bringing calm back to the show, man.
I hope I did. Let's cook something.
Needed it, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
All right. So while we have Big Lou is going to come on next, but I want to note it. Is he going to the bathroom again? How is he possibly going to the bathroom again? How is this possible? What the hell? So while Primetime goes to the bathroom, Vinny is actively campaigning about he's cooler. Check out his Jets channel. He could prove that. I guess he's cooler than us. Like, this is what it's got to. Now they're marketing themselves. Awesome. Yep, he's coming on. I'll wait for Primetime to come on. Primetime can moderate this. Lou's got fans already rooting for him. Everybody wants to. Now we need to. Yes. Afram calmed us down, and now I assure you we're going to go back to chaos. And then I definitely want, no matter how our argument goes, I want Lou to challenge Primetime to a rap. I definitely want to see him challenge him. This has to happen. And Primetime would probably say no, but we got here. Everybody's excited about this. Another bathroom break. Dude, how do you piss so much, man? How much coffee do you drink?
Hold on. I'm starting to get convinced that like you don't actually drink during the show. Like you just take like a couple sips. Like we don't really see. We don't see what's in your cup.
So I just like watch when I drink right now, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much is in there.
I mean, you have like a bladder of like a frog. Like what the hell, dude?
I had 4 cups of coffee and I finished off 3 of these Bud lemonades already. Now I'm on my 4th. So
4 cups, but 4 cups of coffee is insane. And how long period of time?
Like 2 hours. Plus I drink water when I'm working out. Like you work out, you drink a ton of water. How do you not piss?
Dude, I stay properly hydrated, but I don't drink 4 cups of coffee in 2 hours. I have like 3 cups of coffee an entire day. Dude, I wouldn't sleep for a month the way you drink coffee.
Yeah, but you drink a ton of water and then you come on here and you drink these. So how do you not go?
I mean, I guess I'm just. I mean, do you pee a lot during the day or just now?
Just now, like after it all.
You're not properly hydrated, dude. Your diet's all fucked up. You probably eat a lot of sodium then.
Yeah, probably.
Or maybe it's the steroids, dude. Maybe the steroids are throwing the shit off. All right. So we'll bring on Lou. Now, is he still there? Here he is. Big Lou, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How's everyone?
What's up? I'm excited for this one.
Right?
We're ready. So wait, are you actually a rapper?
I am a rapper, yes. I have some videos up on YouTube. I have some music on Apple Music and Spotify. And
what's your channel?
It's just called Big Lou, Biglou.
It's on YouTube?
And then on YouTube, it's Big Lou the Rapper. On Apple and Spotify, it's BIGLOU.
Why didn't you join our halftime show, man?
I was honestly looking for the link. I didn't have the link.
Come on, man. We could did you versus Primetime.
It's halftime show, The Weeknd.
Come on, man. You could have did it with us. So now we have a musical director, a guitar player, but we need an official rapper for our show, though.
Hey, I'm down, man. I can make you guys a theme song. I write music. I'm a music writer. I got you.
See this, Primetime?
There we go.
Now Primetime's gonna be mad. All right, so now you want to take me to task. So what am I always saying no about? Let's hear this.
Okay, so first of all, the whole argument with that is about Sam Darnold. That's my fucking guy, and I have plenty of reasons why it'll reward us in the future to keep him rather than get rid of him when he has a cheap contract and he hasn't really been given a fair shot. And I'm in plenty of Jets groups on Facebook, and we argue this all the time. And I'm always dropping my reasons why. And there's plenty of reasons why it'll be better to keep him on a cheap contract. Don't give him the 5th-year option. Let him play with better roster. And last year, regarding the last caller, last year was just a weird year, and I believe last year was planned throughout the Jets franchise to be that bad, just to give us a better reward factor this year. I mean, as soon as Joe Douglas took office, I'm pretty sure he knew Adam Gase wasn't going to be the coach. Adam Gase is horrible.
With the decision on offensive line, that's just haphazard. Then that's irresponsible being a general manager. Then
that's irresponsible, but it was his first year taking on a roster one that wasn't his.
Yeah, but if you're saying it's planned to be like that, okay, if you're going to spend less money, but at least still sign quality guys, not guys you're going to cut a year later and risk your if you're going to make a Sam Darnold argument, the argument should be like, at least give him a solid offensive line. And Joe Douglas didn't really do that, dude.
Oh yeah, he didn't do that. But like I said, it was just an off year. Like there was a lot of things going on wrong last year, and he predicted right. He didn't need to invest into Thuney or whoever was available last year just so it can end up being the year it was. And in order to have a better year than we had last year, he probably would have needed to make a lot of splashes that probably wouldn't have made sense because you have a new head coach coming in next year. You plan to have.
Your philosophy is that you thought that Gase was going to get fired in a year anyway, so they just mailed in last year.
Yeah.
Mosley
took a COVID year. That was most likely to protect his money. And then we had the Jamal Adams trade. I mean, that was pretty much I need picks type of thing. So, I mean, there was a lot of things that happened last year. And for us to go 0-14, I mean, even his decision, but his decision for Perryman and Robbie Anderson blew up in his face too. I mean, the Robbie Anderson thing blew up in his face, but that may have been he wasn't talented enough. He blew up in Carolina. He had a couple years with the Jets to do good. He was an undrafted free agent. I mean, I understand why he let him go, and he probably backed it up that it was his mistake, but it was probably planned. And as far as Perriman, I mean, he's not going to make a big free agent signing when he's unsure of a quarterback anyway. I mean, he probably is now considering to keep Sam because it just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. Because if you're going to have this young quarterback that you supposedly took this job for, he literally said, "I came here for Sam Darnold," and then not give him guys that he even believes in. It's kind of counterproductive.
That is for that year, but like I said, it was an off year. I mean, things weren't going planned anyway as far as GMs being themselves or even players being
Other
themselves.
teams had no problem restocking and getting better. Look at the Buffalo Bills. They completely loaded up around Josh Allen. They had no problem.
Yeah, but
look at the Miami Dolphins. They had no problem.
They did that constantly throughout the years. We just let go of our top 5, top 6 draft pick, and then we let go of another one. And then we made some horrible free agent signings last year. Mosley, he's played only less than 5 games. Yep. Things weren't going right from the get-go, you know? Offensive line was putrid. Fant was a good signing. It was an okay signing because he didn't give up much sacks on the year. He signed a Pat Eiflin. I mean, these are all developmental moves. These are not moves that you want to define your career.
Well, they're developmental if these guys are here for 3 or 4 years. And like Elfline is a good move, but they got to re-sign them. Like, you know, if you have like if you bring all these guys in and they're all gone after a year, you're not really developing anything except a revolving door at your facility.
Exactly.
So, and that's a problem.
I think another quarterback change will do for us. It'll be just a revolving door because he's not ready. If we bring in a Zach Wilson or a Justin Fields, he's not going to start from day one unless his name is Trevor Lawrence. So we're going to end up having to sign a free agent quarterback to play the first half of the season. We're going to have to do this anyway. So why not keep Sam when we know if we keep him for a year, he's on a cheap contract. We don't have to sign his 5th-year option. We don't have to trade a first-round pick for him. Why? Because we have the 2nd pick. We trade back from the 2nd pick. We get our picks from that for the future. We keep Sam. It's a low-risk move. I mean,
Okay,
for Jets fans to call for his head, it really baffles me because he makes elite throws. He makes really elite throws, and we know this. We see this day. We see this. We see the type of throws he makes.
And here's the problem. And yes, he makes some elite throws, maybe one a game that everybody praises him for. And then when he makes poor throws and poor decisions, do you attribute those to him or to everything around him? And away he goes.
Am I still here?
Oh, there you go. Now you're back. Yeah, you went off.
Am I still here?
Yep.
We can hear you, but yep.
Can you hear me?
You're good. Now he's waving to us.
I can't hear you for some reason.
Uh-oh.
That's when the stuff was getting good, man.
Oh man, damn it!
That's the epitome of Sam Darnold right there, man.
Yeah, I can't hear you. I'm gonna have to come back.
All right, see, that's like Sam Darnold right there, man. You saw some good, and then the bad kicked in.
I'm gonna join again.
All right, you know what I'm saying? Prime time. There was the good, and then the bad overcame, and that was it. That's just like Sam Darnold. That's exactly. We just witnessed Sam Darnold firsthand. You had the glimmer of hope, and then bang, death. That's it.
I wanted to hear his response to that.
Just like Sam. Just like that.
I will say that I agree with him on one thing. As far as like the free agency approach or the offseason approach for Joe Douglas, I do think there was a dramatic shift once the opportunity presented itself to get 2 first-round picks for Jamal, and then Mosley opted out. I think at that point, Douglas pretty much looked at the team and said, we are nowhere close to being a playoff roster. We have a head coach that's on the hot seat that I don't probably believe in all that much. Why am I going to make all these moves, whether it's trading future draft picks or signing guys at the deadline off waivers, which they did nothing? Like, why would he do that with a roster that he felt was still probably a year away? Why would he
even the fact that Jamal wanted out and CJ opted out, that screams to me that Douglas ran to them and said, this might be a rough year, you know? And Jamal said, no, I want to win. And CJ said, no, I'm going to protect my. That's for another day. As far as Sam Darnold, we've seen this kid. You know, he was drafted at 19 years old. He's still very green behind the ears, no matter how many years he's been in the NFL, and that's just going to happen when your team neglects your development. You bring up Josh Allen.
Well, I mean, I don't want my specific question to you was you mentioned that one great throw or the sizzle throws that everybody wants to give. We can talk about his one long run that excited everybody.
Yeah,
so then, what do you attribute the poor play from? Is it going to be everything around him, or
no? Definitely not. It's both half and half, but at the same time, not all the job is the quarterbacks. When the quarterback has to run away from the offensive line because it's collapsing every time and be forced to make a throw, what if Sam doesn't want to make that throw? That's why he holds the ball an extra second in the pocket, even though he was 32 for 32 with a clean pocket, held the ball for 1 second longer than the average quarterback.
So, but see, and my question for you is, I understand he may not want to throw the ball. Does he have a problem deciphering defenses? Is it not understanding the offense? Is it to me, listen, I acknowledge all the defenders for Sam Darnold. I understand how bad Gase was. I hated him myself. I understand how bad Perry, I understand all those things, but I also watch quarterbacks all throughout the league, even like Taylor Heineke that gets signed off the street and still make big time plays and move things. So to me, at some point we got to hold Sam accountable just for his own.
Yeah,
so, but then it's like, but what do you attribute when he like takes a bad sack or just throws the ball up in the air, gives up? Is there been enough damage done to him where it's got to be like deprogrammed, or is it not as bad as I think it is?
No, it's been that bad, honestly, because it's like a baby. You have to nourish a baby the proper way, or it's going to grow up fucked up regardless.
Right. So then, if you acknowledge that he has to be deprogrammed, wouldn't this entire year of like, oh, no big deal, is a year of just deprogramming, and then you're into your 5th year option?
No, because Sam is tough mentally, and we know this. We know how tough mentally Sam is. Sam is highly regarded in the Jets locker room, as stated by Robert Saleh. Sam is highly regarded by Robert Saleh and his staff.
Well, I mean,
before he got here.
I don't think any coach can come in here and be like, I think the quarterback fucking sucks. I want him out of here. They're going to blow smoke up everybody's ass because they want to have his value as high as possible if somebody wants to trade for him.
But that's not the case when Saleh is claiming that Sam Darnold can be the best quarterback to ever play in the Shanahan system on tape. Why would you say that?
He said that?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, bro. I have plenty of arguments. I can pull up.
Wait, Saleh said he's going to be the best quarterback to ever play in the West Coast offense?
Saleh said to Eric Allen that Sam Darnold can be the best quarterback to ever play in the Mike Shanahan system, period. And why would you say that about someone? And he said numerous other things.
You better drug test him too then. Holy shit.
He said
I didn't hear
numerous
that, but I
other
want to
things
hear
that
it
can
now.
point to him
That's
that-
insane.
He said numerous other things that can point to him raising Sam's trade value, but at this point, logically, if we're thinking from the logic standpoint, it doesn't make sense to get rid of him just to sign a random guy off the street when we
So
know
then,
Sam
if that is the case, then when anybody calls the Jets, they'll be like, "No, we're not fielding any offers of Sam Darnold. We have our guy." If they honestly believe, I've never heard that quote because they heard that quote. I probably would have made
that for Jamal Adams.
I would have made a video on that shit if I heard that quote. I guarantee I made a video. I'd be like, "Our coach is insane."
Like, yeah, and the fact that we're even fielding first rounders for Sam right now, that just proves his value around the league. He's had a new offensive coordinator every year, a pro in the league.
I get it, dude. Listen, I get all the excuses around Sam Darnold. I understand every one of them because I've heard them for 6 months from primetime. The problem I have is that many people, I'm not saying it's Kevin, many people do not hold Sam accountable for his own play himself. When he got coached by Jordan Palmer, everybody smacked him on the ass, like, "Oh my God, this is so great. Sam got a great quarterback coach. He plays like shit," and everybody blames everything but Sam. At some point, as an individual player, the kid himself is making bad decisions, bad plays, bad throws, and that's on him.
Yeah, we raised him wrong, bro. We look
Exactly. So at what point is the damage done? We're like, you know what? Change the scenery is better, and let him just get a restart somewhere else where there's not going to be media pressure, fan pressure, the pressure to win, the pressure to perform.
Sam can take that pressure. We already know that. We've seen it during his press.
Well, we've seen him face the music. We've seen him face ghosts. We haven't seen him play well consistently in 3 years.
Yeah,
that's what we've seen.
His best wide receiver in those 3 years has been either undrafted or 5'9".
Listen, man,
Or,
I understand
or somebody that's
all that.
playing lacrosse right now.
Yeah, and now we're expecting Jamison Crowder to be our number one receiver. He's 5'9". You know,
we're not expecting that this year. We're expecting Allen Robinson to be the guy. But listen,
Well,
I
yeah,
understand.
of
But
course.
like, I just want to understand, when does Sam get held accountable? Like, it
He
just
is
doesn't seem
held
like
accountable, but we can do that after next year because it doesn't make sense to draft.
you're basically this another year. Give him a flyer this year. If it doesn't work, oh well, fuck it. Now we're back in the college quarterback ranks again.
Yeah, but we'll have 3 first-round picks to either trade up for the number 1 pick for a highly regarded quarterback or draft a quarterback when we have one of those picks come up. You know, it's that easy, and we're not that far off from competing. We lost a lot of games last year, 10 or less points, a lot of them. You know,
Well,
so I mean, my solution is you sign either Thune or Sheriff, you draft a guard or another tackle. You make sure you sign a clear-cut number 1. My guy is Juju. I mean, I want Juju no matter what. He was college teammates with Sam. They did well. Juju praises Sam. Or he's put up 10 touchdowns every year. A lot of Jets fans really don't want him, but Juju's the guy. We go after another to compliment Herndon. Good. We sign a number 1 receiver, and then we draft another one. Now reports are saying Jamison Crowder may be cut to save $10 million, and I'm yes and on that one too. So I mean, there's a lot of options for us to get better, and we have adequate management to do so this year. Fuck Mike McCagnon and fuck John Idzik. They fucked us up big time, like for years. With all the defensive players they drafted, even when I got drafted, we're still drafting Quentin Williams and Jamal Adams. Great, we don't need them. Buffalo's draft. Arizona trading for Deion Hopkins. Deion developed their quarterback. We put a 18-year-old into the fire, and my thing is, you know, I know it's 50-50 at this point, but I just hope we keep Sam because we know the type of player he can be, and he's been neglected every year as a pro.
We hope we know what he can be. That's like you're more confident than I am. I liked his talent coming here, and to me, I think there's so much damage done where I'm just ready for a reset. Like I'm ready. Like I think I've seen enough where I'm concerned about it.
Yeah.
Where I don't want to double down. Like that's where we're different. Listen, I acknowledge your point of view. I respect Kevin's point of view. Mine is just like I'm ready to move on, dude. Like I'd rather take a chance at a rookie quarterback than. I understand, but listen, I get it. And listen, if he stays here, if they say, you know what, we're gonna keep Sam Darnold, I'll support him to the end. I hope he flourishes. I mean, I don't hate him. Good kid, good character, respected. It's just I'm ready to move on. So, but thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. And it's Big Lou the rapper on YouTube.
Yeah.
Well, I'll check it out, dude.
Yeah,
all right, I love you guys, man. Take care.
Have a good day.
Have a good night, man.
See, prime time. We were civil.
That was a good debate. Had some good points there.
Yeah. See, it wasn't as bad. And we got to check out. Now we got a rapper for our show too. Now, so that's even better.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know, the Juju Smith-Schuster, the Juju thing is interesting because there's no like gray area with him. People either love him or hate him. There's no like, oh, maybe you'll get him. Like people just either hate his antics and all his bullshit, or they want to pay him and they want to bring him to the table.
I think it makes sense. I mean, if Sam's coming back, just because they have some chemistry together, going back to USC, but the same argument I think could be made for a guy like Will Fuller. If you're trying to bring in Deshaun Watson, they've got some chemistry together. All depends who your quarterback's going to be.
We're gonna go to Robert. Robert, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
So I had a question. So if you're an unrestricted free agent, are you allowed to get franchise tagged? Do you guys know that?
If you're
an unrestricted free agent, yeah. Why wouldn't they be allowed?
So is Allen Robinson for sure hitting free agency, or can the Bears franchise tag him?
Yeah, they could like Godwin can get tagged by the Buccaneers. They could all get tagged, dude. It's no.
So then I
the Bears
think
have
a lot of these
space to do that though.
I don't know exactly, but I think Galladay is going to get tagged and traded, and I think Godwin is going to get tagged, and Juju I know is going to get tagged and probably traded. But they could let him walk as well.
See, Godwin is riffy. They may tag Barrett instead. What about Shaq Barrett? They got some guys in there they can keep.
They're in a tough situation. That team wants some defensive studs that they're about to lose.
I'll take their problem. Give me their problem. Winning a Super Bowl and worrying about paying guys.
Yeah, no.
And even the Steelers, I mean, they just had Chase Claypool have an amazing year as a rookie, so they got him for cheap for the next 3 years. So are they willing to potentially tag Juju?
That's because of the college he went to.
Yeah, they're a team that could afford to let receivers walk. The Steelers, they draft so good. Oh,
yep.
One day. But I was gonna say the Sam Darnold situation it's not his fault at all. It's been bad, but I just think it'll be so tough. I don't know how Robert Saleh. I don't know how they could keep him. If I'm being completely honest, because if he shits the bed next year, what goes on from there? Like you're risking. This is like Joe Douglas and Saleh putting their jobs on the line for this kid.
Well, it's not solid. Joe Douglas is putting his job on the line. If he ignores all the draft, if he doesn't trade for Deshaun Watson, doesn't draft the quarterback, and says, Sam's my guy, good luck with that.
The problem with the number 2 quarterbacks, I think they're all boom or bust. Lance didn't play. Justin Fields, I liked Fields. He's good. Zach Wilson, I think he's gonna get injured a lot in the NFL.
But Robert, just from Joe Douglas's perspective, do you think there's more risk bringing back Sam for another year, knowing that there's no commitment, you can get out from underneath him? If he sucks, you don't have to pick up the 5th-year option, or is there more risk saying right now, this is the time I'm willing to go all in on Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, whoever it is? Because if that guy doesn't work out and Sam Darnold goes somewhere else and has a successful year, Douglas is fucked. He's not going to be able to pick another quarterback if whoever he takes at number 2 isn't the guy. So are any of these guys, like you just said, I mean, there's a toss-up between who should be the second quarterback. Is he willing to risk his job on Wilson or Fields or whoever? I think there's more risk going with the rookie quarterback, especially knowing for a fact you have so many holes at receiver, O-line, edge, corner. Like you could address all those things, and maybe Sam's the guy, maybe he's not, but it doesn't pigeonhole you into Sam for the next 3 to 4 years. You take your quarterback now, he's your guy for the next 4 to 5 years. And if he sucks for Joe Douglas, that's it. Like you're done if he's not the guy.
I think the complete opposite. If they double down with Sam and ignore taking a quarterback at 2, and then Sam blows up next year doesn't play well, I think Joe Douglas can get so much shit for that.
I don't know how. I think he'd get fired. If he failed, if they go 3-13, 4-12.
Yeah, and Sam plays like shit, and they have no answer quarterback. This fan base can go out of their minds.
He's not getting fired.
And then a GM.
You have a head coach that just signed. You have a head coach that just signed a 5-year contract. There's no way that Douglas is getting fired at the end of this year, and they're bringing a new GM and forcing him to work with Saleh. That's not going to happen. Douglas is here for at least the next 3 years.
I completely disagree. Could not disagree more.
I think if it was year 2, he had 2 more years on his deal, like you were saying, I think it'd be a little bit different. You could run it back with him and get out. But I think the last year, because you're going to, what they would do realistically, they would decline the 5th-year option and then let him play the.
Yeah, so all the draft resources you use this year, you're going to trade up next year. But what is your thoughts on Jamison Crowder, man?
I like Jamison Crowder a lot. I had him in fantasy, and he was one of my 6 wide receivers. So I would just throw him in on bye week guys. But I think he's solid, but I think he'll get released too. I think the Jets are just going to get younger, cheaper, fast flying guys.
Fair enough. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Have a nice night.
You too. So you rigged this shit tonight. I know you did. We never get this many pro Sam Darnold calls. You fucking must have put a marketing campaign out or some bullshit. We never get all these Sam Darnold.
People are waking up, man.
No, they want to piss me off and argue with me. That's all they're trying to do. You started this shit. Somehow you created this.
That could be part of it too.
You definitely tried to do this shit. Just replayed my argument. I see where I went wrong.
Up their eyes. Wait, what was
that?
That?
Because I'm going to watch film. I have a good week of practice, then come back. Well, we appreciate it, man. Listen, we welcome debate. We welcome any kind of argument. We welcome all kinds of debates. We're here for the, yeah. And Jack,
he had a decent argument until he proved my point with Pat Mahomes. Like that's an argument in my favor that I should have. Yeah. There's a lot of different directions you could go if you want to bash Sam. Where I'm like, all right, yes, he didn't play well. He made some poor decisions. He forced balls into double coverage. I get all that. It's not all on Adam Gase and his receivers. You could have went down that route, but you went with one of the arguments that favored me.
Argument. So. Yep. We're gonna go to John and Lakehurst.
Oh shit!
What's up, John?
What's up?
What's up, John? How you doing, man?
What's going on? Doing good. Trying to get this phone. I'm in my truck. I'm not driving, but I'm trying to get my phone to sit in the back and trying to get the lighting.
Well, it's better. It's better than the shit we saw from Vincent. So you're doing better already, man. We saw the top of his fucking head. So,
yo, prime time. Well, I didn't watch it on Super Bowl, but I watch your guy. I always get on you prime time, but man, your steak came out banging, bro. And I've been cooking my steaks like that all week.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Appreciate that.
In the skillet, same thing you did, and it's like melt in your mouth. It came out. Really, you did a good job on that.
Thank you, John.
Give you a lot of credit.
These calls are bullshit tonight.
No,
this is the best night of calling we've had in a while.
I always get on prime time, so he did a good job on them steaks, man. I thought he won. I watched it after the Super Bowl, but it was really good.
Did you watch it sober or drunk?
I watched it sober, actually. I was listening to it, but then I actually rewound it because I wanted to see the cook-off or whatever. So I went back to it and then rewatched it, and I did my shit the same way. I got stuck in Florida the past 2 days, so I went to a friend's house. And I was like, let me cook dinner 2 nights in a row. And I hit it with the primetime steak, and that shit came out banging. I'm telling you.
There you go. There you go.
Well done.
I always do mine on the grill. I never cook them inside like that on the skillet, but a lot of props for that. It came out really good.
You get so much more flavor. Yep.
Oh, man, so much
bullshit. More. So John, what is your take on the Jets free agency? Are you keeping Crowder? Or are you moving on? Or what are you doing with receivers?
I watched your video earlier on that, and then I was really thinking about it, and I'm like, it would kind of be shitty if we didn't keep Crowder because he's been so consistent, and he's like good in the locker room. He's a good player. It's not like there's anything wrong with the player. It's just maybe like you were saying, one of you guys said it. I watched both of your videos, but maybe like, sorry, I'm drinking beer. I'm burping. Truck's down, so I'm getting it fixed. So I got beer and chicken, so we're doing good. Maybe restructure the contract. Yeah, cheers. Boom.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, that listen, I like Crowder, man. I think he brings a lot to the table, but I don't want to pay him $11 million this year. If he wants to get add in a couple of years on it, make it a little more cap friendly, just more friendly, for the team. And give him throwing some extra guaranteed money. I'm cool with that.
Like even give him maybe a couple more years, just like extend his contract, maybe backload it or something.
Yep.
I think he was injured a lot in Washington, but for us, he's been way more consistent. So like, why not keep that around? Like we're always saying, we have all these holes, and then that's one receiver we don't have to worry about.
How much would you be willing to pay him though on an extension though? Because, like, for me, if I'm bringing him back, I'm leaving him at the contract as it is because I could still get out from under that, after next year or whatever. Like, the only way I'm getting rid of him is if I can replace him with somebody, like Allen Robinson plus Samuel, plus I know I could draft somebody. Like, if I get my pieces in place, then, okay, we can move on from Crowder. Otherwise, I'm leaving him in kind of just the way he is with the contract now. And, I'm not committing to more at Crowder because he still has had some injury concerns here.
See, I would commit to him for a little bit longer because he's a different receiver than those guys. So then you got your slot guy, you got kind of like your little bit of X factor guy, and then if we did bring in a Robinson, you got your big body threat, and then I really like the idea of bringing in Curtis Samuel because I think like him and a Crowder mix, because they both can really play on the outside, they both can go like deep over the middle, and then they're both really good slot guys. So it's kind of like, who do you cover? That's how I think. I'm hoping the offense goes like that or whatever. The Deshaun Watson shit's kind of up in the air now. I can't even watch it no more because I'm like,
it's annoying now at this point.
Yeah,
It's ridiculously annoying.
Sucks.
So now, when you look at defense, your really only building block right now is Quinnen Williams. How do you handle Marcus May? People have asked, do you consider tagging him? Which I don't, but would you consider franchise tag, transition tag, let him test the market, come back? What do you do with May?
I think you bring May back because I think he wants to come back. And like with Jamal kind of out of the way, I think he kind of showed you that this year. He assumed like a leadership role on the team. So I would bring him back because we had a really young and not so great secondary, but so he kind of like rounded those guys up. I think his experience and the fact that he showed that he's a solid player, that would it would just be good for the locker room. Like I wouldn't change him or Crowder for that reason, because you're going to bring in receivers through the draft and you might get a guy like Robinson. But what if we don't go that route and we get like kind of a second tier wide receiver? Like, Crowder's a good leader and a good stand up dude.
We better not get no second tier shit. We got all this goddamn cap space for a reason. Well, fuck.
Right.
I'm not settling this year, dude. I'm not settling for any bullshit this year in free agency. I'm not.
No, I want the big spending too. I don't know. I was looking at some of the stuff. Like, I really don't think Thuney's going to be available because I feel like the Patriots got money too, and I feel like they're going to bring him back. They probably won't let him hit the market. And then I like the idea that you guys were saying about bringing that center in from Green Bay. I think that would be money well spent.
Makes a lot of sense. Yep,
oh,
absolutely.
Because there's your anchor. You got Mangold and DeBrickashaw. Which Becton.
That's exactly what you fucking need, dude. You have two stalwarts in your offensive line, and you help you go around them. That's exactly what you need.
And then you don't.
I'm still concerned with the years on him because he's 30 years old. I mean, you're probably not giving him 4 or 5 years. Maybe 3 years. I think it's probably where you go.
Yeah, I would give him 3 or 4. I would think even about giving him 4 and kind of just make it like just a friendly contract to the Jets because he knows we're going to be in building mode, but he's a building block, so he's not going nowhere. And then you got Connor McGovern, kick him over to guard. You know what I mean? You don't need so many superstars then. If you have a really good center,
I like Elfline too, man. I think Elfline played really well.
Yeah, he's
starter though.
A good fill-in. Well, it's up in the air as a starter. He came on a little bit towards the end of the season, but the dude showed like his versatility.
And he plays center too. He's versatile as hell, man. He's feisty, he's competitive. Brian Baldinger loves him.
Perfect.
Yeah, because if somebody goes down, look at the Chiefs. The 2 linemen went down. Next guy up mentality, but that totally changed the picture on that game. I thought that would be way closer. I mean, I picked the Bucks anyway on FanDuel, but I still thought it was going to be a way better game. It was not as expected. And I'll agree with that other kid that Patrick Mahomes was hitting the receivers and stuff, but it still was like they were having the Bucks were just like a well-oiled machine, man. They were just
they were well coached, they were prepared, they went after it on defense. John, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. Good seeing you, man.
Doubt. All right, man. Yeah, definitely. All
right,
good night, talk to you Tuesday. All right,
yes,
later,
sir.
guys.
That's cool. That's cool because he calls in on Tuesdays. Now we get to see the face behind the voice. That's cool as hell.
Yep.
So we will go to Goose. Goose, what's up, man?
What's up, brothers? How's everything?
What's up, dude?
Not much. Just talking about free agents. This is my little plan. First thing is Robinson. All right. What do we think it cost? 15 million, 17 million?
Yep.
Probably like that, right? And how much do we have in cap space? I think about 60.
Right now, 68, but probably upwards of about 90 million by the time free agency starts, I would think.
90 million. Okay. So he'd be number one. Crowder, though, I'm not paying a slot receiver $11 million, over $10 million, unless it's Godwin. And I don't know if the Jets would actually pay 2 receivers that much. So what I would do is sign, I think like a Pascal type guy would be like basically a fourth receiver because I think we're going to draft a receiver, first round, second round, whatever it is, and that you want him to be like the number 3. You have Mims, and then maybe you can sign 1 or 2 others, to be your 4th and 5th or 5th and 6th, whatever. Compete that way. And I don't think they're going to sign anybody else really bigger besides that. I think you're getting one big free agent. That's why I want to be Robinson. But then Lindsey makes perfect sense. You sign him, what do you get, like 10 million, 11 million, if that?
Somewhere in that range, probably.
Right. You put McGovern over, like you said, put him over, and you still need money to sign your draft picks and everything else. And I don't think they're going to spend all their cap money as we wish they would. But I don't see that. If they had $90 million, I don't see them spending $90 million.
Well, usually you allocate about like 10 million for the draft, and then you keep about 15 or so to go into the season in case guys get injured. So you figure they probably have about 60 to 65 to work with. And
yeah,
I'm just thinking if you're signing Robinson, he's going to take up about 15. Lindsley would probably take up another 10 to 12. Maybe you sign one more prominent guy.
I'm just thinking still with COVID going on next year, I think you still want to have somebody around.
Well, especially knowing we're not, a win now team right now. So I don't think, you want to have some flexibility going into the future too.
Yeah, right. One other point about franchise players. Do you think there's going to be actually teams doing a lot of franchising, considering they don't want to screw up their cap space with, like we said, with COVID again, and who knows what's going to be going on with players being cut, all this stuff.
But how does the franchise tag hurts them, doesn't it?
Hurts what? It hurts the team?
Yeah, you're guaranteeing that amount for the year, so that's
right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you're going to see a lot of players being franchised.
That could be.
You know what I mean?
That's definitely possible.
That's definitely possible.
Yeah. And then just with May, I go back and forth with him. I don't like this paying a safety more than $10 million. Yep. That's one of the positions. That's why we got rid of Adams. But at the same time, we really don't have, besides Williams, a real anchor on our defense. So I teeter back and forth whether you really want to pay it. But I mean, if you have the money, if you have to overpay somebody a little bit, I guess that'd be the only guy I would.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's keeping one of your own. It fits the, he fits the mold of what you play like a Jet means. So that's that kind of guy. So
yeah. So all right, that's about it.
Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. See you guys
good
soon.
night, man.
You too.
Yeah, the Marcus May one's an interesting situation, dude.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I like him. I would love him back. I just can't see any scenario where Douglas signs him before free agency starts. I think he's going to make him, evaluate the market, probably, test the market and see that, hey, there's not a lot of teams with a lot of space out there, and there's a lot of good free agents. So, whether it's like $10, $11 million per year that he's looking for, he's probably not going to get that, at least not this year.
Yep, I agree. Let's bring Rutgers. Is Rutgers there? I see a wall. What is Rutgers doing, man? This is it must be like a Sam Darnold. This got to be a Sam Darnold take right here.
Be a good time for bathroom break. Oh, wait.
We had time to rip you before you got on.
How you doing?
He sounds serious too, man.
I'm not serious. I mean,
well, I got an important question for you, man, because I'm heading your way tomorrow. What's the weather like outside?
It's not great.
Is it ice? Is it ice and rain, or is it just?
Give me a second.
Go look. This is important because I got to commute in that shit tomorrow, and I don't want to. Just give me a reason to work from home, man. Give me a reason. Prime time's third bathroom break. What are we doing here? What the fuck? It's just, I just don't understand. I do all the comments and everything.
It's supposed to be, but there's nothing right now. Maybe later tonight.
Yeah, they're saying it's supposed to get nasty as hell, man.
I think it said around midnight it's supposed to start.
Yeah, like an ice storm or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. So what's your thoughts, man? Talking free agency tonight?
We can talk everything. I mean, anything really. Free agency, yeah.
Crowder.
I would personally, I like him. I would move on probably.
Would you offer a restructured contract, or would you just cut him outright?
I would weigh it, but I guess I would. I mean, let me really clarify. The Bears would have to tag Robinson before free agency starts, right?
Mm-hmm. That starts soon. They had the window start soon.
Tagged or not, I would probably just let him go and try and get someone free agency. Because if some of those guys get tagged, then you'd maybe want to hedge your bets and keep him. Mm-hmm. But if not, like Robinson, I would go after Robinson heavily because I know he could play up the slot as well, and he did it at a really high level. Like he plays on outside and inside. I think I looked up stats and I didn't find the specific stuff for this year because I didn't see anyone put it out. But I remember last year he had like 500 something receiving yards from the slot, like 4 touchdowns, no drops, like 60 catches. So Robinson can give us a lot of value from inside and outside.
And that's with shitty quarterback play.
Yeah, with Trubisky not even throwing him the ball at times.
Yep.
So I think I like Crowder a lot. I would just probably move on, try and get someone else. I don't think he's worth it, the money.
And then Marcus May, what do you do there?
I like May a lot as well. But if it's not reasonable, don't do it. I think, some people are talking about, about how we got burned with the Robbie Anderson thing, where it's like we didn't want to, I guess Douglas didn't think he was going to sign for as little as he did, and he let him go because he, when Anderson he wanted more money, and, he left, and we expect him to get more. He should have stayed more in contact with him to keep checking up with what he was looking at with the offers he had. And
so what's a decent contract? What, like the franchise would be what, $11 million, I think, for safeties, or $10 million. Yeah. What would you give Marcus May?
I guess if a number I would like to see from May, maybe 8 or 9.
How many years?
What is he? Probably 28. 3 or 4
years. Yeah.
3 or 4, maybe an option.
Exactly where I'm at. Yep.
Yeah, maybe 3 with an option, something like that. And then promote it as best you can.
No, dude, that's exactly where I'm at. About 8-9 million per year, 3-4 years, nothing more than that. But I still don't think it's going to happen before free agency. I think that Douglas is going to look at the roster and say, you know what, there's a number of prominent players that we can sign right now that are going to be building blocks at premium positions, and we're going to allow Marcus May to test the market. And if he doesn't get the offer he's looking for, he'll come back to us like a lot of guys did last year, like Jenkins and Poole and others, and we'll be able to get him at our price.
Yeah, I expect Marcus is going to want to test the market because we're not going to give him that deal.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him either. I'm not here to advocate for Sam, so
that's a positive. You're the first one, man. I got like primetime rigged this show tonight. There's no doubt about it, man. He brought this bullshit on. It's ridiculous.
He's got his stands on the calls. It seemed Jack was really active tonight.
Yep. So now the one position people
Lawrence in the chat.
What do you talk when you talk about pass rush, which we haven't had in years? Mm-hmm. Do you consider making any kind of big time move for a pass rusher in free agency, or do you make a higher round pick in the draft? How do you handle pass rusher, or is that not a need this year and make that a next year move?
I would if I was going to handle it this year, I would probably look in the draft at Basham or
what round?
Probably late or the 23rd pick, or maybe the second rounder.
Really?
Yeah, I think Basham and Phillips are 2 guys who I think would, Basham's from Wake Forest, I think, and then Phillips is the one from Miami. I think they're 2 interesting prospects. They would be able to. I don't know if they'd be able to come in and be like amazing, but they'll be able to generate some sacks, generate some pressure.
What about Zuniga, 3rd round pick? Guess not.
Maybe, I don't know. I haven't seen much from him.
I agree.
We didn't see anything from him. Yeah, more from Bryce Huff and everybody else than you did from
Gase. I honestly, we wouldn't even seen Huff or those guys if the corners weren't so bad. Because Gase was not going to play anybody but the people he knew.
Yeah, no,
he just Miami. He just drove everyone away playing the people he knew. So I think I would look at the pass rusher there. Maybe I would prefer if we got a wide receiver like Bateman from I think Minnesota. You could also look at Nico Collins, but I would look for him more like later round, like maybe second round. I think we have 1 second rounder, I think, right?
Yeah, 1 second rounder, and 2 third rounders. Yep.
Yeah. So maybe with the early third, maybe take a Nico Collins. He's a tall guy from Michigan. I think he sat out this year. He looked really good at the Senior Bowl and practicing in the games.
It's gonna be a weird draft season, man, with so many guys that didn't play in like few games, and it's just no combine too, man. It is just
hard to evaluate.
It's gonna be really hard to evaluate. So you don't know what they've done in a year. What have they done? Have they taken care of themselves? How much have they lost? You have no idea whatsoever.
True test for Joe Douglas.
Great,
really big test. I mean, he's a scouting guy. He loves grinding tape, so
So did Adam Gase.
He can't do it. Adam. No, Adam Gase love watching Frank Gore's tape.
Oh, God help us. Rutgers, thanks, Joyce, man. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you for having me.
Have a good night, man.
Bye.
We didn't screw his name up tonight either. See, prime time. I've gotten smart.
Did you say his name, or did you just say Rutgers?
No, fuck no. I've gotten it wrong the last 3 calls.
Should I actually look into like a prostate exam? Like, am I peeing way too much?
I mean, I don't know. I think
Does
wouldn't
prostate have anything to do with like going to the bathroom?
No, I think we should look into you drinking 4 cups of coffee in 2 hours. That's probably the more concerning thing.
What's wrong with that?
It's insane.
I don't put sugar in it though.
I mean, it's the level of caffeine that you're drinking. It dehydrates the shit out of you.
Does that make you go to the bathroom more though?
Yep. Yeah, it dehydrates you. Coffee's a dehydrator.
That's probably what it is then.
I think the increase of Sam support is a result of everyone feeling Watts is not coming to the Jets and not liking other quarterbacks in the draft. They're trying to convince themselves. I think that's true, but I also think that the hype around some of these rookie quarterbacks is going to increase tremendously. It's already starting with Zach Wilson. I've already seen it firsthand just on our Twitter account. And for those of you that are wondering, Instagram and Twitter at Talk Jets Radio, because Primetime said I never promote anything, and I don't. Nor does he. Yeah, coffee's diuretic, dude. It makes you piss your brains out.
Oh, is that
it's
like cranberry juice in The Departed?
Yeah, but it dehydrates you though. So if you drank a lot of coffee, like if I do that, if I drink a lot of coffee, not a lot of water, I'll cramp like shit training. Like I'll get, it's awful.
But why would I pee more with something that dehydrates?
It cleans you out, dude. It's like a diuretic.
Okay.
It wipes all the water out of your system, unless you eat a shitload of salt, and that kind of keeps it in you. But
I drink the coffee and then I drink a lot of this. So shouldn't that like
which in alcohol is also it's all diuretic. It's also dehydrating you too, man. So you got like
that explains why. Okay,
you got to drink like 3 times more water.
Yeah, I gotta drink a lot more.
Because I drink like a gallon of water a day, if not more, probably more.
I gotta drink more water. That's the problem.
So we will go to our special friend from Canada and our excellent music taste.
That was bad. What's up, guys?
How are you?
How you doing?
Not bad. After yesterday's show, I was gonna come on and give some music reviews after I was recommended to listen to a couple things. But after someone was taking a million different shots at me. I don't know if they got stood up on a date or it's being a total diva, but like I just wasn't feeling like coming on. So decided to come on and give some, good music review. Well, good is a stretch, but decided to come on and give that music review. And it's been such a pro primetime show and like Sam Darnold show today that, let's fix that a bit.
I could not appreciate and agree more. This is excellent. So much better.
Yeah.
You paid her,
No, I was gonna come on anyway.
See, Primetime, what the story of this is that you're starting to scare away our viewers now. She doesn't want to come on anymore because of your bullshit. And this is becoming concerning now. This is alarming to us.
I stated a fact about a tweet that was deleted. I thought it should have been discussed.
You literally said, okay, can we just go back to like 2 shows ago where you said, I apologize, I owned up to it. And you were like, okay, we're good. Then yesterday, I just come on, I make not even talking about it, and I get a random shot taken at me. Like, okay.
What was the random shot? I don't remember that.
You did like 2
I was just talking about the Saints not having any cap space, and you're just like, you're gonna delete that comment.
Oh, yeah, you took a couple shots at her, man.
And then you said my name wrong like 4 times, so that was great too.
Cassandra, right? Cassandra.
Yeah.
Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you mispronounced it more than you said it right. So
see, the problem is like with you and Javed, I think it is. I'm not gonna say Rutgers. Like,
Rutgers.
The problem is like we get your names like towards the end of the show when we're like 3 or 4 down. So like it doesn't really stick with the
but it's not
memory.
like I think only one other person has mispronounced my name wrong. So that's not like it's not hard.
I'm used to Cassandra.
No. And so, but last show, you gave me your rap to watch and that Sarah Marshall song. And so
you had to like that, right?
Well, so I'll go with the one that I watched first. And so I'm just going to preface by saying I do not watch movies really at all. I barely watch movies. So before watching this show, I never heard of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and I'm still not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's a rom-com, and I do not watch any romance movies. I will not watch any romance movies. And so I thought
It's much more of a comedy before it's a romance. Much more of a comedy.
I don't care. I'm not watching it. And so anyway, so I thought this was a legitimate song. And because
it is though.
Tyson said he didn't like it, and I have really similar music taste to him, my expectations were low. But somehow it was even worse than that. So I watched like 20 seconds of this romance movie, and I got through literally 2 seconds of the song before I realized, do I actually hate music? It was the worst thing I have ever heard. I am embarrassed that I even listened to it. It was awful, terrible. Why would you recommend that? Like, do you listen to it when you're high? Like, what? It was horrible. Literally the worst thing ever.
You didn't get the metaphor that Jason Segel was trying to portray with Dracula, as far as like, you know, the outside character being a monster, but on the inside, we're all searching for love. We're all searching for acceptance. Like you didn't get that connection that he was trying to make there.
I listened to 2 seconds of it, and it sounded like nails on a chalkboard, so I stopped because I didn't want to hate music after it.
Fucking song is awful. It was horrendous. Horrible.
I think it's a good song.
It's so bad. I'd rather watch Sam Darnold highlights. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, no, it was so like that's what you listen to.
Well, that's not on my playlist. But as far as like songs from a movie, that's one of my tops.
What? That was horrible.
All right. So the second thing you had to do?
So the second thing I had to do was watch your rap. And so I thought your strategy recommending this Sarah Marshall song was that nothing is worse than that. So I would automatically think your rap is better by comparison. And so it was better than that, but don't quit your day job because it still wasn't any good.
Damn. You angered her, dude. You clearly angered her.
You would agree though that I had to let Eminem catch up to me, right? Like I was spitting at a pace that was much faster than him.
Okay, the pacing was okay, but nothing else was.
So if Primetime had a challenge Big Lou, you're taking Big Lou, I guess?
Well, I'd have to listen to some of his rap. Like I actually like rap music, but most of the rap I like is faster. So I guess you had that going for you.
That's right in Primetime's wheelhouse.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but no, you're not. Yeah, but it's still not. It wasn't good, and so I'll actually go look for some of this guy's music because.
Well, stay tuned because a week from tonight, I should have my Sam Darnold rap ready.
I'm opting out of listening to that. I am not listening to that. I'm muting that.
No, you have to.
No,
it's his debut rap.
Listening to that.
It's a Sam Darnold rap. You have to watch it. You have to.
I'm not listening to a Sam Darnold rap.
We'll drink and we'll watch it all together. We have to.
Okay, I'll make you a deal. The only way I will listen to it is if Primetime doesn't defend Sam Darnold or make any excuses for Sam Darnold between now and when he does this rap.
That's what the whole rap is going to be about. It's going to be a rap of excuses.
He can't make any excuses for him between now and when he does that rap. That's the only way I'll listen to it.
I've tried very hard not to bring up Sam Darnold over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I've tried very hard to avoid that topic. We've had callers that voluntarily bring it back into conversation.
I don't care. You can't defend Sam Darnold or make any excuses, any retweets. I don't care what it is. That's the only way I will listen to this rap.
Why is Twitter getting thrown into this now? I can't retweet something about Sam Darnold now?
No, nothing positive. So no positive commentary. That's the only way I will listen to the Sam Darnold rap.
I mean, I think she's still gonna listen to it anyway, man.
Curiosity will mute it.
Curiosity will kill you. You'll have to.
She won't mute it.
I'm not curious after listening to that Eminem rap at all.
It's just
wow. It's like that. All right.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's harsh.
That's the only way. That's the only way I will listen to that rap. I promise you that.
All right.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what to do now.
So now prime time. This is a person that you're trying to win over in terms of just displaying your talents. No, in terms of displaying your talents and how you can your rap skills. But now it's gonna be hard to win her over. She's not gonna watch it. So,
well, good thing I haven't been on Twitter much over the last number of weeks, so that shouldn't be an issue. But the problem is, I
good
can't
for our
control,
marketing. But
but I can't control when people come on here and want to say that, hey, Sam's got plenty of talent. That he could be good with a better supporting cast. Better
Just
coaching.
don't defend him. Mute yourself.
I try, but sometimes I need to, help some people out with, with their debates. If they're not bringing all the right talking points, they need a push in the right direction. I try to be here to help them.
No, just stop helping out people. Stop being so helpful. Cool it on the Sam defending. You could literally make like a Sam Darnold excuses bingo card for you at the moment. It's like
that's true. I could write that shit in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so cool it on the Sam Darnold takes. And yeah, shut up about Sam. How many shows would that be? It would be the Tuesday show if you stream on Friday.
That's Tuesday.
And then
Friday.
whenever it'll be like what, 2 days? Like two shows? Like that's not that hard.
Nope,
I didn't bring up Sam last Tuesday until who was
Matt
it that
called
in? Yeah, Matt from Philly, until he called in.
Yeah, so if you don't defend Sam Darnold or make any excuses for him, I'll give your Sam Darnold rap a chance. Other than that, no.
All right,
you know what? Fair. I'll make the bingo card. I'll make the Sam Darnold bingo card.
Sam
no
Darnold
problem whatsoever.
Bingo.
We can do that shit. No problem at all. Cassandra, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. And thank you for the musical suggestions too.
Oh yeah, no problem. I love, like, I don't know. I think I have decent taste in music. Like it's
much better than his.
Well, yeah, like what do you even listen to? Like it's horrible. And so, yeah, no, if you want any music recommendations, like I think I have good ones. So not that anyone cares, but whatever.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Have a good
night.
Well, Primetime, we went from a legitimate football show to just, I'm not really sure what happened there.
To just me getting roasted, apparently.
I mean, this is all about tough critics. So, I mean, that was, it is what it is. We're going to go to Steve. Steve, what's up, man?
One thing to roast me, but
hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Steve?
I think Primetime's battered and bruised right now.
That's a tough one to come back from.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank you guys because I swear to God, you guys were the only things that were entertaining on Super Bowl night. My whole house was watching you guys and we were cracking up. So just thank you right there, because otherwise I don't know what we would have done for 3.5 hours. I'm here as a Sam detractor.
Perfect.
Look, granted, it's hard to evaluate a quarterback if he hasn't been given good coaching and the best supporting cast. But in my mind, there are still a couple of things that you can look for. First, has he progressed, or at worst, has he been even keel? He's had a bad supporting cast for 3 years. And in my mind, it looks like the game hasn't slowed down. It looks like it's actually sped up, especially this past year. He just looks like he's panicking more and more. I don't see a progression. I see a regression, and that concerns me. Another thing I look for is no matter how bad the team is, leadership can be seen. Like, for example, with the 2018 Bills, they went 6-10, but Josh Allen with a bad team around him, that team would have followed him over a boat into the ocean. He was such a leader on that team, and you can just see it on the field. And with Darnold, hell, you see guys even clamoring on Twitter for Watson. I mean, they'll say the right thing in front of the press, but you don't see people really fighting for Sam Darnold, and that concerns me. And I don't really see that it factor there, which you can't teach. And also, there's something else. And PT, you brought up a point on another show where basically you see Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and you see how he couldn't throw to anybody. He wasn't very productive. He was crushed. And you're like, look, even the best quarterbacks need a supporting cast. Give Sam a team around him. But even in that game, you didn't see panic from Mahomes. He ran away. He even made throws parallel to the ground and hit people in the face. He wasn't panicked. He was just crushed. He didn't make bad decisions. He was just outmatched on the line. I I didn't see any panic in him like I would have seen with Darnold, for example, when he went up against a Patriot team. Darnold might flourish elsewhere. He might need a change in scenery, but I'm concerned about him here because I don't see him moving in the right direction. I see him getting worse. And our previous caller mentioned, well, just give him 1 year and then you don't have to give him the 5th-year option. You can maybe get him on the cheap. But somebody that young, with the pedigree that he has, a team is still going to take a chance. 15 teams need a quarterback. Somebody's going to give him at least over $10 million. So to keep him a 5th year, you're still going to have to pay something substantial. And there is a lot to lose if he doesn't pan out this year because you lose a full year, and that's another year where your players are getting older. They're a year further in a rookie contract. So you want to get this right as soon as possible. Just one more quick thing. I don't think Douglas ever meant to keep him because if he did, with the money and resources he had last year, he would have put more around him so we can really evaluate him. And he really didn't do that in year one, knowing the timing and the year and the contract he was going to go into. So I don't think Douglas was going to keep him. I don't think he was Douglas's guy, but I think it's better for all parties if he just goes.
Pride time, your thoughts.
You made some very valid points there. As far as Mahomes goes, I'll still say, when you have Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy calling the plays, it's completely different. You still have, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce out there. Sam has never had any weapon like either of those guys. So I think that's important. And again, every quarterback develops at a different rate. I remember very vividly the arguments that were being made about Eli Manning after his 3rd year. And you can look back at his stats. You can look back at some of the games that he played at the end of his 3rd year when the Giants, I think they made the playoffs. I think they were 8-8 that year. And he was trash down the stretch of that year. And even into his 4th year, he led the league in interceptions. Through most of the regular season, a lot of the talk on Sports Talk Radio was that Eli Manning is not built for New York. He's not the Giants franchise quarterback. And just like that, a playoff run and a Super Bowl win changed all of that. So that quickly, it changed for Eli Manning. And he was a little bit older than Sam. He had, better weapons like Plaxico and guys like that. And he still, he took, 3 years to kind of get it figured out, but he got it figured out. So I feel like with the flashes that we talk about with Sam, yeah, if you're anti-Sam, you look at it more as like inconsistency. Why is he not doing it more consistently? I get it. But for me, it's more of like, all right, this is what he could do if you put the right system around him and the right playmakers around him. And he's 23 years old. I'm not going to say that he's washed at this point. Certainly, I'll agree with you to an extent that, not having more players stand up for him is a little bit of a red flag. But to say that he could be a starting caliber quarterback in this league or even a franchise quarterback, I'm just not ready to make that assessment based on what he did in the last 2 years playing in the Adam Gase system or with no wideouts and no offensive line. Like there's no rookie quarterback over the last 10 years that you can point to, I think, that's been put in a worse situation than Sam.
Normally, I would say that's completely valid. And Eli is actually pretty on point with his progression. But the only thing I would have to say about Sam is you do see some of the same problems going back into college. It's not like this started in the pros. He has been inconsistent for a long time. His decision-making was a big concern. And also his footwork and his mechanics have actually gotten worse. And he works with Jordan Palmer, a lot of other quarterbacks who work with the same guy. Their footwork has actually gotten better. His has gotten progressively sloppier. To me, between the ears, there's a red flag there, and it's not totally his fault, but there is some responsibility bared. Even this past year with the shitty-ass coach and Adam Gase and that situation, when Flacco went in there, the offense operated more smoothly. It just did. I know the Jets didn't do him any favors, but at the same time, and also, even if he does get better, I'm curious at this point what his ceiling is. Can he ever get to a point where Eli Manning got to? I don't know. To me, his ceiling might even be maybe 15th in the league. People say he's made elite throws. I haven't seen elite traits with him. I mean, he's got
I think you see elite flashes. But yeah, I'll agree with you. It hasn't been consistent. But even like just going back to Eli Manning, I mean, he was never really a top 5 quarterback. You could argue he was probably in the top 10 for a number of years there. But he was never a top 5 guy. But like the point that I make with Sam is more that the picks that you have plus the cap space that you have, you could probably build an elite team around him. So if he is that top 15 guy, even if that's his ceiling now, even if he is a top 15 guy, is he a guy that you can win Super Bowls with because you have an elite team around him, as opposed to, all right, maybe we're going to go all in on Deshaun Watson, or we're going to use that number 2 pick on a rookie quarterback.
If you have an elite team around him, anybody's going to be good with that.
Not anybody.
Eli was an Iron Man. Are you concerned that Darnold has missed 10 games in his first 3 years?
The mono stuff, to me, that was just a fluke. But, I mean, he had an injury his rookie year. I think that was the ankle. And then last year, he had the shoulder. So, yeah, I mean, there's some concerns there. He missed a couple of games each year. There's some concern there, which is why, again, I would still bring him back. But if you don't want to bring him back on the 5th-year option, that's fine.
Steve, this is the point you made is exactly where I am with him. It's like, listen, I understand all the surrounding excuses around him with Gase to playmakers. To me, it was the in-game decisions, taking bad sacks, not situational awareness, game awareness, things like that, just not reading certain defenses. That's what bothers me the most. Like rookie quarterback mistakes in year 3 drives me insane. And I understand some of it's coaching, but some of it's on the individual player. And everybody praised him for getting work from Jordan Palmer and all these elite things he can do. But in crunch time, he makes bad decisions, interceptions in the end zone, all these different things that drive you insane. So that's what bothers me as well, man. I'm in the same boat you're on.
Look, if the Jets keep him and he does great, nobody would be happier than me to say I'm wrong. I just don't see it. But hey, if I'm wrong, I'd be thrilled to say it. I love
he's a good kid, dude. Like he's a very likable guy, and he's dealt with bullshit after bullshit here with like the media, the ghost, all this shit. Like you like to see him be resilient and bounce back. Classy kid, never really said nothing bad about nobody. But like you said, the other thing too is when you see Denzel Mims and Becton, all these guys, little shots they've taken like in this offseason, that's concerning, man. That's not like a lot of these young quarterbacks, like you said, Josh Allen's a perfect example. That team loves him, dude. Like they will run through walls for that kid. You don't have that same feeling for Sam Darnold, and it's just unfortunate right now.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for all you do.
Excellent call, man.
Every time. Take care.
No, we appreciate it. Thank you. It was an awesome call. No, that was interesting, man.
That was awesome.
Hey, man, I had an hour of your nonsense. This is some bullshit, man. But
that was a good call, though. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There's a lot of you figured what's February 15th. We got another month till free agency till like the tampering period starts. The rumor mill is going crazy. It's not really that Sam can't do it. He has shown flashes just like Josh Allen did. However, you said, Tyson, the damage is done. Let the kid have a fresh start. Plus, your GM will want to live and die with his own guy.
I'll agree on the last part. Chances are, if Douglas identifies Fields or Wilson or Lance or whoever as being a can't miss prospect, he's probably going to start fresh with his guy on a rookie contract. Start fresh. There's nothing to repair. There's nothing that Gase programmed in him that you have to undo. You're starting fresh, and I get that point of it. But the idea that the damage has been done on a 23-year-old quarterback, that he can't overcome any of this stuff. I mean, he's proven time and again throughout his first 3 years. I think that he can overcome adversity. He bounced.
It's not adversity. I want to see him consistently read the right defense, make the right throws, make the right in-game decisions for 16 games. That's what I want to see.
I would love to see that too. I just didn't think it was realistic to see with the cast that was around him and the system that he was in over the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's gonna be the argument. It's like you see flashes, but you need to be consistent, continuity, and then it's just now you're overhauling everything. Do they want to double down? So okay, we're gonna overhaul with you or without you, and that's gonna be. And I do think, and it's go back to like Marcus May and even Jamison Crowder. The other point of this is Joe Douglas didn't bring these guys in here, man. So that's how much of a factor is that. He's like, you know what, you're still here, but you're not my kind of guy. This isn't our system, or there's no loyalty whatsoever to any of these guys, really.
But that's also why I wonder if Joe Douglas would try to use that as maybe leverage to just buy some extra time to build the roster to get certain things in place. And then he could still say to ownership, I tried to make it work with your guy. It didn't work. I chose to, add pieces to other areas that we needed.
The only way that
now
works,
we still have X, Y, and Z to still go get our quarterback.
The only way I think that works if Sam is average or above average. If he is still like making these same mistakes, they're gonna, dude. This team, this fan base, and they'll go off the walls. If Sam comes back next year as a starter and plays like shit or doesn't play well, this will be the most miserable fucking time on this show ever.
You don't think the same argument would apply times 10 if Sam Darnold goes somewhere else and becomes
I don't care about somewhere else.
quarterback,
The
and
only
the
thing
guy
I
that
care
we
about would be
draft
here.
isn't an all-pro quarterback?
Nope.
You don't think that same argument would apply?
Nope. Because it depends what. So if Sam goes somewhere else and plays well, but what do we have here? Somebody here playing well? Because
Well,
he's going
that's what I'm
somewhere.
saying,
If he goes somewhere
the
else,
guy
we
you
get draft
draft
competition.
here, and that's fine. But if the guy you draft here, let's just say his first year, it's an up and down year. It's similar to what Sam did his rookie year. A lot of
Doesn't
flashes.
matter.
Finished
You
the year
draft the
strong.
quarterback. You do the same thing you do with Sam Darnold. You give him 3 years. Year one of this rookie quarterback, you're not comparing
what
to
I'm
Sam
saying
Darnold.
though is for next year, if Sam Darnold goes somewhere else and lights it up, and the guy you brought in has an up and down year, some flashes, some not so good moments, you don't think the same argument would apply? Why didn't we just keep Sam and build around him?
That's the rookie quarterback experience.
I think there would be a similar uproar.
No, there wouldn't, because it'd be amateur hour to compare year 4 of Sam against a rookie quarterback in a new system. It's amateur hour. That's stupid. I'd go all day with that. So you say, oh, a guy 4 years in the NFL against a guy that just got in the NFL? No, that's crazy.
Well, because you finally gave him some weapons and some coaching.
Yeah, listen, if Sam goes somewhere else and lights it up, good for him. I'd love to see it. That'd be great. And then you can shit on Joe Douglas all you want.
But you were talking about the fan reaction and uproar.
Because
if they stuck with Sam and passed up on a quarterback,
I think the outrage here would be tremendous.
And I think the outrage would be just the same if they traded Sam and he prospered elsewhere, and the guy you drafted didn't light it up.
Now you're saying, well, first of all, you said play at a Pro Bowl level. Now you're saying prosper. Prosper means what?
Play at a top 10 to 15 quarterback level?
Yeah, I mean, that's to
Somewhere
go from rank to go from like the worst statistic quarterback in football to a top 10 quarterback in 1 year. That'd be miraculous.
Somewhere in that top 10 to 15 range. If he was in that next year, and the guy that you drafted is up and down like Sam was his rookie year, you don't think
it's a
there would be
rookie
similar
quarterback?
outrage?
The expectations for rookie quarterback are not top 10 quarterback.
I agree, but I'm talking again about the
there will be outrage. Yes, if he goes somewhere else and plays well, there'll be outrage. There'll be 45 times more outrage if they keep him here and he plays like shit. This fucking fan base will be out of their minds.
As long as Joe Douglas,
are you nuts?
As long
Sam
as
Darnold comes out week 1, you
got
to be kidding me.
You're making it just about the quarterback, though. As long as Joe Douglas does something right with that number 2 pick, whether it's trading down, acquiring extra picks, gets his number 1 wideout.
We're talking about the quarterback, the play of the quarterback. If Sam Darnold, as an individual who you just talked about, if Sam goes somewhere else and plays well, if Sam stays here and doesn't play well, this fan base will flip fucking shit.
That's what you're not getting, though. If Sam doesn't do that,
you're not getting it.
You're not tied to him. You can escape from him. You can get rid of him.
You can escape from him, and the general manager is going to get fucking roasted.
More so than if Sam went somewhere else and prospered, and the guy you drafted up and down.
Yes, because you're the number 2 pick in the draft, and you're not using it for quarterbacks. You double down this quarterback, and he plays like shit. The outrage with this fan base and press will roast him.
If you use that number 2 pick and you get your number 1 wideout, or you trade it down, you get multiple picks. You have 3 first-round picks next year, and you solidified some of the pieces on the roster. You got your receiver. You solidified the O-line. You did all of that, but the quarterback is still the missing piece. And you have all these things.
The most important piece.
But you have all these things to go get your quarterback now, just like the Chiefs did, just like the Texans did. They had all their pieces in place, and then they went and they got their quarterback.
We're never going to agree, dude. Never. I will never agree with this ever. Never, ever agree.
Ever.
It's impossible. I just know how this fan base is, dude. I guarantee you bring back Sam week 1, he throws a pick 6 in the first half of the fucking game. Get this fucking guy out of here. What is Joe Douglas doing? He should be fired.
And what do you think the reaction is going to be if Sam his first week throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and our rookie quarterback throws 2 interceptions? What do you think the reaction is going to be?
Because the rookie quarterback is a rookie. He's not in your
bullshit,
dude. If they draft Zach Wilson and he plays average or whatever, he's a rookie quarterback. Like, I'm not gonna be the fucking asshole saying Zach Wilson's gonna be a top 10 quarterback year 1. That's stupid. You're comparing apples and oranges.
Yes, because we know he's a rookie quarterback. I'm talking about the majority of our fan base. If Zach
the whole
Wilson
fucking fan base should know that. You have a rookie quarterback. Nobody expects shit year 1. Did Josh Allen play like a Pro Bowler year 1? No, it's a 3-year process. You get better every year. That's the expectation. You go, you learn. It's the fucking way the rookie is, man. It's a roller coaster ride. That's what you go on. That's it. So, but thank you guys for joining us tomorrow night. How the fuck is it 11 o'clock already? Tomorrow night, 8:30, and then maybe Friday night, 8 o'clock. We have no idea. So thank you guys, we appreciate it.
Have a good night.